We fixed it. Let's go. Let's go. Engineer brain. Right when we were watching that video, I was about to say that guy is fucking creepy. Or something like that guy's not creepy or anything, something like that. And then my fucking there was inside of my PSU, there was this cord that was hanging down low and the fan's oscillating. So it got caught on it and it started making this screeching sound and my PC just shut off instantly. And I was like, alright, well, I gotta fix that. So I had to go open up my PSU. I had to go, like, fuck around for, like, 2 hours. It was pretty nerve-wracking. Because I've never really, like, fucked around in a PSU like that before. You know what I mean? It was nerve-wracking, man. I hope I didn't die. That would be just my luck, actually. Oh, thank fucking Christ. I had to take it apart though, bro, and like it was like fucking surgery, man. I'd never fucking taken apart my PC like that before, or even taken apart a PSU before. I had no idea what I was looking for, and then like it just like I don't know. I fixed it. Quiet as fuck now. It is quiet as fuck. My PC sounds like brand new now. For the past week, I've been like slapping it, you know what I mean? Just smacking the shit out of it to get that sound to go away. I've been smacking the shit out of my fucking computer just to make the sound go away. And then today, the fucking, I guess it just got caught on the fan way too hard. It's just sitting there going, and I'm just like, oh my god. And then I'm streaming and my stream just literally just paused. And then once that happened, I was just like, oh, well, fucking computers, Dad. That's that. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm a fucking engineer. Let's go see if I can't fix that shit. So that's exactly
Love
what I
truly
did.
makes you do crazy things. And in this video, we're taking you through the crazy case of Vicky White
Brimstone key,
and how she
I'll
went from
take
being an
that.
award-winning
Sheesh.
officer to a wanted fugitive. This is Casey Cole White, a 7-foot-tall white supremacist who was sentenced to 3 years in prison
Sounds
for
like a
beating
winner.
his brother with the handle of an axe sledgehammer. Since 2016, he has been sentenced to 75 years in prison for 7 counts that include attempted murder and robbery. During his 75-year sentence at the William E. Donaldson Correctional Facility, he confessed to an investigator for the 2015 stabbing of Connie Ridgway, a 59-year-old resident of Alabama who passed away and was now charged with 2 counts of capital murder. The authorities decided to transfer him to the detention center in Lauderdale County, where he would soon face trial. To avoid any more severity, he recanted his confession and pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, a plea that the majority of killers take when there's no way out. But almost 90% of the time it doesn't work. But it was in the corridors of Lauderdale County where he found someone gullible, someone easy to manipulate, or maybe, just maybe, someone he could love. That someone was Vicky White. Now first, let me be clear. Both their names end with White, but they're not related. Now, Vicky White was an assistant director of corrections at Lauderdale County. In her 17 years as a corrections officer, she won Employee of the Year 4 times and was set to win the award again for her last year of service. She married Tommy White in 2002 and divorced him in 2006 due to his alcohol abuse. She was 56 years old.
Yo, what's up, face?
Had no children.
7 foot white supremacist NBA player.
Vicky fell for Casey. Officers of the county reported that Vicky gave Casey special.
Should I pop in the other stream? My PC was broken. I had to fix it.
The guards also noted her tendency to seek sympathy from the staff. To her, it didn't matter a bit that this giant was facing assault, murder, and robbery charges. Didn't even matter that he pled guilty by reason of insanity. Turns out there was just something lovable about him that you and I can't see.
What happened to it? There was a loose cable in the PSU and had to take the PSU apart.
The day of their retirement,
and essentially
quickly became the day of their escape.
Fix
On
the
the morning
cable.
of April 29th, 2022 at
Secure it.
9:30 a.m., Vicky escorted Casey White to the police vehicle and told fellow officers that she was taking him to the county
Honestly, thought my
courthouse in
computer was done
Florence
for it.
a
It's just like,
psychological
oh, well, that's
evaluation.
that.
And after that, she was going to see her physician since she was not feeling well that day. Now that sounded awfully suspicious because escorting someone as big as Casey to any place would normally require 2 deputies, not 1 person. But then again, she was the assistant director, and her fellow officers chose not to challenge her. This was just one of the signs to prove that they were about to elope. Before the escape, Vicky sold her 4-acre property for $95,000, which was way less than the property's assessed value of $235,600. This, and the fact that she had developed a romantic relationship with this madman for 2 years, should have been the first sign that she's about to disappear. She also brought firearms, men's clothing, and vehicles before the escape. Just hours before their escape, Vicky was scouting the area to see who's around and how she can get Casey out safely. A surveillance video later showed Casey in handcuffs and leg shackles, escorted to the police vehicle, and after that, the two never returned. The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department received a surveillance video taken at a local gas station of White's patrol car just 8 minutes after the pair left the detention center. They checked the courthouse's itinerary and found out there was no hearing or evaluations that day. They didn't pan out the theory of romantic eloping just yet, so they thought that she might have been forced or coerced into helping Casey escape. So, on that day, the county initiated a statewide manhunt. The police car was easily trackable.
You're like, well, there goes
a Ford Edge. After that,
there
Ford
goes
Edge was found abandoned in Tennessee. The manhunt became officially nationwide. The couple then switched to a blue 2006 Ford F-150 pickup truck and checked in and out of several motels. Vicky White was seen in many surveillance videos with her blonde hair dyed black. Now they made it to Evansville, Indiana, where they rented a motel room by paying a homeless man $100 for a 14-day stay. The man himself was a convicted sex offender, but he was unaware that the Whites were on the run. The authorities offered rewards for information leading to their capture, and one anonymous helper tipped off the police by sending them a surveillance video of the couple washing the pickup truck from a car wash employee. The only reason they washed it was to remove the fingerprints and traces on the car, all of which could incriminate them when caught. They were later spotted in another video getting into a gray Cadillac DTS. This was their last car switch, as an Evansville police officer spotted the vehicle at Motel 41 and called for backup. Casey took the wheel, and the chase ensued on U.S. Highway 41. Casey drove into a grassy field, and the police vehicle rammed the Cadillac, causing it to flip into a ditch. This is where things intensify further. During their car chase, Vicky called 911 and shared what was quite possibly her last words.
Hello? Airbags are going on. Let's get out and run. Get us back to the hotel. Hello?
At the end of the call, the car flipped into the ditch, and police converged on the vehicle to arrest the two.
I mean, how dumb do you have to be to fucking break someone out of jail that beat their own brother to death? That's pretty cool. Smart man, Zeno, smart man.
It took a whole herd of officers to take down Casey and finally cuff him. This dash cam footage didn't capture the sound well, but it was reported that Casey yelled, quote, "Please help my wife. She shot herself in the head and I didn't do it." As police approached the car, one officer said, quote, "We need to clear some of this to get to her." Another officer, kneeling by the overturned car, says, quote, "She's still got the gun in her hand. One adds, quote, "She's still breathing. I can see her chest rising. Finger still on the trigger. She could pull that trigger again."
Hey, we need to clear some of this shit out of the way so we can get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
He is. Oh.
She shot herself.
Davis, you good? You need anything? You need anything?
No, she's good.
Okay.
She's still got it in her hand. I don't know.
Got the gun in her hand?
Yeah, she's got a gun.
All right, watch it.
Put the gun down or we'll shoot you! After she shot herself and just incapacitated.
Hey. Let's go ahead and pop this front windshield
She's
here.
got the gun in her hand.
The entrance was clearly jammed, so they had to rush someone in to grab Vicky and get pulled out by the other officers.
It's opening. It's opening.
Just be careful, dude.
Yeah. You got me? Yeah. I'm gonna go for the gun first. Okay, I'm gonna go for the gun.
Also, I just put on God mode. Cars can fly.
I'm gonna grab it. Let me a little bit. All right, pull me out. All right, I got it. All right.
First by in court as listened. Things happened, and we were in love.
Things happened, we were in love.
I didn't even touch you. Put your leg back around. Go on, put your leg back around. I cannot, my lord.
Okay, he said, I cannot.
What you just heard was the cry of a man who experienced unreasonable force from this man, Officer Andrew Mamone. After the body cam unveiled his...
This guy literally looks like a fucking serial killer, honestly. I'm not even joking, just that haircut on him.
Further
Just not doing it.
The only answer he gave was that he was not trained.
I was not trained on.
In this video, we're taking you through the interrogation of Andrew Mamone and how an internal affairs investigation unveiled his improper use of force. On February 4th, 2019, at approximately 8 p.m., Officer Andrew Mamone was riding with Officer Jay Seitz in a two-man unit when they saw a black 2008 Honda Civic being driven suspiciously. Acting on this suspicion, the officers made the traffic stop. The driver was Tarek Green, cooperative, compliant, and calm. But his passenger, Cary Grant, was the most nervous. Part of the reason was that Cary wasn't even his real name, and another part of the reason was that he had a sheet on him. Officer Seitz acted on Grant's nervousness.
Oh, what the fuck's a sheet? Like a wrap? He's got like a wrap?
Asked him to step out of the vehicle, placed him in handcuffs, and tried several times to find him on the system, which was hard to do on an alias like Cary Grant.
I genuinely
Officer
cannot
Mamone
believe how
finally
well
got a
I
hit
fixed
on the
my
system and found his
PS
real name to be
Like, I've heard that
Daquan
grinding
Grant.
sound pretty much all week.
Knowing all
and
this,
now there's
Grant
just
knew the trouble he'd get into,
record warrants,
so
yeah,
he
fair.
ran from the stop while
But
still
like
in
I've had that
handcuffs.
shit like grinding
Officer
all
Mamone
week, man.
and Madison
And like
chased
now I
him
can
on foot
like
until he
fall
eventually
asleep
fell to the ground.
with my computer
Before he
running.
could
and
get
I
up
don't
and
even know
try
what's
again,
running.
Officer Mamone discharged his
Holy
taser.
fuck. Before I could hear my
Also, during
computer
the
like
run,
downstairs.
Grant was able to reposition his handcuffs from the back to the front because the cuffs were a bit loose, giving him some wiggle room. But for the officers, the safest position for handcuffs is back. So after they caught Grant and brought him back to the stop, they instructed Grant to get on the ground and reposition his handcuffs. When Grant protested that he physically
Just
couldn't,
loaded for you?
Officer Mamone threatened him with pepper
Alex,
spray.
what's up, girl?
When he still resisted, Officer Mamone forced his legs through the cuffs. There are so many red flags in this interrogation: the cuffing, the tasing, and the threatening, which is why after an internal
Easter,
affairs
everybody, by the way.
investigation was completed, Officer
Long as,
Mamone was brought in for an interview on the 28th of May 2019 to give some much-needed answers about this encounter.
Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Andrew, Andrew, Mamone, Mamone.
And how long have you been with us?
Andrew Mamone.
Over 3 years.
And did you have law enforcement prior to that?
Yes, ma'am. Over 2 years at the city of Sanford.
Got brother a cake for his birthday? Dang, let's go.
Any more?
Nope.
Okay. Where are you
go.
currently assigned?
Vehicles for hire.
Where were
What kind
you
of cake was
assigned
it?
When
Like ice cream cake?
the incident occurred on February 4th, 2019.
West Patrol Division, Golf Alpha Mids.
And how long were you in that spot?
Up to the month of March of this year.
March.
From date of hire.
Okay, so you transferred somewhere else in March?
Yeah, I transferred to East Patrol Division, Kilo Alpha Mids.
Okay. We're here reference IR 1933. This INOI is in reference to a possible violation of
Basic
RM
ice cream
800-2
fudge cake?
arrest,
Nice.
subsection C treatment.
I remember
of
my
prisoner.
sister always
have an
wanted ice
opportunity
cream
to
cake for
review
her
the body
birthday and
camera
never got
footage
one
related
until
to this
just like
incident?
Yes,
she was
ma'am.
like
Did
30.
you review it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The other two officers in this video, these are officers
Yo,
Madison and Sykes, is that
guys,
correct?
chat.
Correct.
Were you
May
riding
I
solo or team?
suggest that
Team
we
passenger.
partake
And were you
in
the
the
driver or the
smoking of
passenger?
some?
Passenger.
Oh, by the way, chat. I gotta. I'm giving these guys a free shout out. No fucks given whatsoever. You guys, if you guys ever see these kinds of if you guys ever see any of these cartridges, if you guys smoke cartridges or any weed or anything by these people, anything by these people, nugs, I highly suggest getting anything from this company nugs, because it is literally fucking insane. Like, this shit is insane. These cartridges, this is the best. I have the Slurple one. It's like what is it? It's like orange juice, croissants, butter. Yeah, like it's fucking phenomenal. It's like real deal oil. It's none of this like fake ass bullshit. It's like, yeah. Nugs, N-U-G-Z. Anything by this company, I'm telling you, it is fucking gas. Galactic Old... No, wait. Galactic Runts Triple Burger. It has an authentic hash flavor. What is this? Old school hash? Fuck, I don't want the hash. Is it a joint? A big ass blunt? I'm gonna have to give that a go next time. Nugs, chat. N-U-G-Z. Nugs. That company is the fucking bee's knees. I got a cart right here from them. I got a cart right here. Here, one second. There we go. I got the Slurple cart. I highly suggest getting sponsored by Slurple, bro. If I was still doing zombies, pulling a consistent fucking 50-something viewers, bro, tell you right fucking now, bro. You already know I would be hitting them up for a sponsorship. You already fucking know I would hit them up.
So
cheers, chat.
originally you all conducted a traffic stop, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then at some point you got them both out of the car and you were trying to identify who the passenger in the car was, correct?
Correct. We established probable cause for a search.
Okay. While
Like,
you
it's
all
the
were
best
standing,
taste.
I think
My
you were
buddy had
standing
some of
by
this oil the other
vehicle,
day,
and Officer
and he
Madison
said,
and
"This is the
Sykes
best tasting
were
oil he's ever
standing
had."
up,
And like, you can tell it's just authentic oil because it's like amberish, you know what I mean? And it's got that thick viscosity to it.
Correct.
Ambush,
he
you know what I'm saying?
Away from you guys, correct?
Correct.
Tell me what happened after that.
The Mr. Grant, the suspect, the passenger in the car who I was attempting to identify, was looking back. Based off the false identification he provided, I used that as clues through the mugshots program to try and find his real identity. Upon finding his real identity, I guess he picked up on my verbal and nonverbal cues.
Yeah, it's
that
not
I have
distillate.
caused
This is
identified
real,
him.
like, rosin.
Once I stepped
You know
out
what I
of the
mean?
car, he began
You can
to
tell this
run
is some
at a
real
full sprint.
rosin.
I guess it would be like northwest from us, towards the end.
I've also had
Timberleaf
their
and
actual rosin as
Timberleaf
well,
apartment.
and it tastes
Okay,
like,
and
oh,
then
not necessarily like this,
Due to
but
the
their
fact he's providing
Turple,
an active physical
their
resistance,
Turple
I
tasted
deployed
somewhat
my
like this because
electronic
Slurple is
device after
slurricane
he
and Turple
fell,
mixed, right? But
popped up and then attempted to flee again.
tasted somewhat
Had
similar,
a
but like this is
positive effect
phenomenal.
of him
Some of
going
the
to
best
ground. He
oil
didn't
like
fully
you can
walk
get.
up, but
I
he did
swear
go
to
the
God.
ground, which then Officer Madison
Swear to
and I
God
were
on my
able
life.
to use hands-on techniques to keep him from getting up and trying to flee again.
Okay. So you two get him under control.
It's cooking good looking.
And you eventually stand him up, and you all walk back towards where Officer Sykes is, correct?
Correct. When he goes to the ground, he flips his handcuffs. His handcuffs are
Oh,
on
I'm
the
sorry,
front.
yeah.
Which is problematic, of course. And then myself and Officer Madison walk him back to the patrol vehicles and the original scene of the traffic stop.
Okay. What happened when you get back to the original site of the
This
traffic
cart right here.
Mr. Grant is
I got this cart
placed
from General
in-
Admission.
on the ground. In a
You can
kneeling
tell it's just
position,
like
and he's
artificial
told to put
bullshit,
his handcuffs back behind
and
his
it
back.
costs $15
Is that
more. This
how
one
you
cost,
were
or
taught
sorry,
to handcuff
$10 more.
somebody?
I was
The
not
other one
trained
costs
on
$45. This one
having
costs
a suspect
$35.
replace his handcuffs
So
from
it's
the
just
front
like,
to the
can't go
rear
wrong.
after he has reversed
Literally
after
just
he has
fucking
flipped
top
from
notch.
Back to front. I have not been trained on
Great
putting
play,
The
people-
interrogation
great
kicks off
play,
with
blah, blah,
Malone
blah, great
describing
price,
the
everything.
incident confidently.
Yeah.
But after the handcuffing is brought up, he slows down his pace and talks about how he's not trained. Because of his lack of training, his first attempt at handcuffing Grant was weak, which is why it was easy for him to move his cuffs to the front.
How do you normally handcuff a person if they haven't been handcuffed?
If they are not handcuffed,
Mhm.
you handcuff them behind the back.
Okay, what if they say the handcuffs are twisted or hurting them? How do you unhandcuff them to readjust it? How would you
I have not been
readjust it?
trained on
Poop.
handcuffing a suspect based of his complaint of pain.
Have you ever had
Have
to
I
adjust
ever
a
had?
handcuff
Yeah,
on a person?
Tanner. People don't understand how.
When they're behind his
It's
back.
like some people that are like, when I used
By
to sell a bunch of
placing
shatter
my
and shit
handcuff
when I was in
key
high
in a
school.
handcuff and adjusting them
Kids would
behind
be
his
like, man, I don't want it unless it's shatter. It's not potent unless it's shatter. It's just like, buddy, you can have
So,
wax and it
he's
still
on
be
the
potent. It's all
ground,
about the
and you tell him
fucking,
to put his
how you
hands back,
incorporate
and
air, how you
behind
make
him,
it.
and what does he
Like,
say?
it's all the same shit. It's all
He
the same
fails to comply
potency
with
level
the order.
too.
What does he say?
Like,
You'd have to play the
it's
camera.
fucking
for
ridiculous.
not
People
to
are
repeat
just dumb
verbatim
and they
what he
don't
said.
understand how like the process goes.
And even then, you just have to listen. I don't know for memory.
His answers are now drying up, especially when he's being confronted about the worst part
Yeah.
of his interaction.
You know?
But the interrogator
Some
here
good old
will now
hash
jog
oil.
his memory by actually playing the body cam footage of the incident. Unfortunately, because this was an internal investigation, the actual footage is unavailable, so let's get imaginative, shall we?
Get these handcuffs back behind him. Where do you think you're going to go? Y'all going to run us with handcuffs on. They're going to stop. They're going to drop down to your knees. They're going to fix your handcuffs. Going to put them back behind your back. No, it's okay. Let them go. Put them back. Put them behind your back. Go on. You're the one who got them in front. You told me.
You don't see, I don't know anything about oils and splits. Like,
If you do anything other than what I say, you get sprayed in the face.
that was my life in high
Put them
school.
behind your back.
Anything cannabis was my life.
You're gonna put
My buddy went to Niagara College to learn how to grow weed, and I literally paid for him to go to college just so I could like get information on how to grow weed from him.
Put those. How did you get him on? How did you get him on? You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Thanks.
Put those under your knees, slip them under your knees, and around your back. If you gotta go to your side, go to your side. Do what you gotta do to put your handcuffs behind your back. How's that?
Look, I'm finna lay you down, and you gonna do what you gotta do.
There you go. Now put your legs through the cuffs.
That's what I'm trying to do. Like, it feel like I cannot move. I swole, sir. You let me in my... I swole.
Put them behind your back.
Oh my God. Put him behind your back.
Go on.
Look at me. Look at me. I tried to, bro.
You're not even trying. Not even trying.
So he says he's trying to, right?
Yo,
Wait,
Shawnee, you only
Apparently
smoke
made no physical
flower?
attempt, but he says he
That's
tried.
fair. Nothing wrong with that.
But he said he tried.
I like flower
said.
too.
Not even trying. You're stuck.
So when he says he's not even trying, Is he just laying
I like
flat,
flower too.
or
I like
what is he
all
doing
just
at
like
that point?
cannabis
I
in
can't see
general.
on
I
You do see
genuinely
a
just
little
like
when
it in
pans back and
general, you
forth.
know?
When he originally laid on
I
slide,
can't see his full body on your body camera during none of this. Like, I can't see his body. I see his foot.
yeah, exactly. So you see his foot. I recall from him with his legs outstretched, not attempting to even bring his knees to his chest to flip the handcuffs.
Ice the
And he
thou.
says he can't.
Yeah, but he hasn't physically tried, and he says he can't. Correct.
Okay, well, there's some things that I know I can't do without having tried, but I understand what you're saying. You're saying you didn't try.
I'm about to unstuck you.
Correct.
You want to do it? You want me to do it for you?
Look at me. I tried to, bro.
You're not even trying. Not even trying.
I tried to.
Not even trying. You're stuck. I'm
Not
about to
even
unstuck you. You want to do it? You
trying,
want me to do it?
brother.
What does that mean? I'm about to unstuck you.
I can't recall it because I can't see him.
You said it. What does it mean?
I can't recall because I can't see. He said, I don't know what he means by I'm stuck, so therefore I don't recall what I meant by I can't unstuck you.
And why were you going to pepper spray him?
If he provided physical resistance, my use of force choice.
Not only did he force him to
But
reposition,
bro,
but he
he's in
threatened him with pepper spray.
handcuffs, homie. Like, what? The torture? Yeah, dude, it's for real.
By law, the use of pepper spray comes when the officer engages in self-defense or wants to prevent an escape.
Yeah.
Considering that Grant was short
He's-
with medium build
he's
and
handcuffed.
handcuffed already, he was neither a threat nor had the means to escape again. His
what?
threatening with the pepper spray came way too early and is something he should be held accountable for.
Yeah, that's
Shut
what I'm
your
saying.
mouth. You shut your mouth. Put those.
If this guy
irons
fucking
to the
pepper
money.
sprays him,
Right,
bro,
right.
he's
You
definitely
gotta go to
losing
your
his
side.
bro.
Go to your side.
You just.
Do what you gotta do to put your handcuffs behind your back. How's that?
Look, I'm finna lay you down, and you gonna do what you gotta do.
There you go. Now put your legs through the cuffs.
What comes next? What is it?
You let me in my. I swore.
Put them behind your back.
What is he saying there? I'm what?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Go on.
Look at me. I tried to, bro.
You're not even trying.
I swore.
Put them behind your back.
Oh my God, that's before. Put it behind.
What was the purpose of shaking the pepper spray?
I don't recall. Am I shaking pepper spray?
Go on.
Look at me. I tried to, bro.
You're not even trying. Not even trying.
I tried to.
Not even trying. You're stuck. I'm about to unstuck you. You want to do it? You want me to do it for you? You want to do it? You want me to do it for you? Okay, we'll do it.
Oh, what the fuck?
I didn't even touch you.
Oh, what the
Put your leg back around. Go on.
Bro, this guy just laughed, bro.
Put your leg
This
back
guy
around.
just laughed.
Okay, he said, I cannot. And now you're forcefully pulling his leg through the handcuffs. Why are you pulling his leg through the handcuffs?
To get them repositioned to the rear.
He said that he couldn't and that he was yelling because it hurt.
We don't know if he's yelling because he's hurt.
What?
I can yell right now. It doesn't mean I'm in physical pain.
He was yelling.
Bro, never let this man have children.
Because you were
Jesus.
pulling his leg through the handcuffs.
Correct,
What
he was.
the?
So that wouldn't indicate that it
Dude,
was hurting him?
what the
Not
fuck?
necessarily, man.
Why else would he be yelling?
For any various reasons. Draw a crowd. We see if you get attention of people in the apartment. That's a common thing that we see.
You are the
on
only
patrol.
one that won. Wow.
People will scream even in the back of a patrol car just to get people to the scene.
Okay.
The most ridiculous cause for the scream.
Dude, that's fucked.
He wasn't just screaming, he was yelling that it hurt, indicating the reason for screaming. Any reasonable person walking by would assume the same, that he's screaming because of the pain of pushing his leg through his cuffed hands. The detective will now fixate on this question to the point where she gets a valid answer.
No, you can't.
That's fucking.
You're not trying. You just did. I just saw you do it. Oh, that's all right.
He said, I'm trying, I can't, and you're still forcefully pulling his leg through. Why are you still pulling his leg through?
Same answer, to get his handcuffs repositioned to the rear.
But he's saying that he can't do it. Why are you pulling his hand through? If it's hurting him and he says he can't do it, it's not going to work.
We don't know if it's hurting him. And the same answer, to put his hands behind his back.
We'll get it. We'll get it. Go on, stick your foot through. I see people do this every day. Come on. Come on.
Bro.
Stop.
This looks like the bald guy from Pawn Stars. This guy here looks. Eh? Come on. Tell me you don't see it, chat. Let's go, baby. Y'all see that, right? I'm not the only one.
But you stop fighting me and just do it.
I'm going with you, bro. Like,
No, you're not. No, you're not. Put your foot around. That wasn't that hard. Now do the other one. Do the other one. Put the handcuffs back behind your back. Go on, do the other one. I'm not taking the cuffs off. Your cuffs aren't going back. You already ran once. I ain't going to take them off. Put your other foot. I'll do the other one.
So you didn't want to reposition the handcuffs because you haven't been trained, or because he already ran once?
I haven't been trained in repositioning a suspect who has fled from the scene, who has flipped his cuffs on the ground to reposition him in his back, ma'am.
Okay, so you didn't have control of the prisoner?
No, I never said we didn't have control. I said I've never
I'm
been
asking
trained.
you, did you have control of him?
I can't say we did.
It's not a trick question. Just,
Well, it
Yes,
is. It
it
depends on the
is a
definition
trick
of control.
question.
was he free to go?
What's surprised he wasn't
No,
handled?
ma'am, he's detained.
Did you have physical control of him?
Like I said, that determines on your definition of control. If I put him in the back
This
of my
guy
truck,
is
I would
such
say
a
I have the-
sleazebag piece of shit, bro. Fucking do not like this fucking loser. Bro, this is like the worst type of, not even cop, but human being. This guy right here is a manipulative dog shit person, bro. You can just tell.
full control, but I don't.
He's the type
Even though
of
he's
guy
doing
that
that.
would be like in a relationship with a chick and like convince them that like they're the problem. You know?
Control car.
Is he free to leave?
No, he's detained, ma'am.
Okay, is he under arrest in the back of the car?
Yes, at this point, he's under arrest.
Okay. So what was stopping
that's
you
facts.
from unhandcuffing him
No,
and
kill
putting
him.
the handcuffs behind his back?
I've never been trained to do that.
You've never been trained to unlock a pair of handcuffs?
Not from a person who has fled and lied about his name.
That has nothing to do with you unlocking a pair of handcuffs. Nothing. Have you been trained to unlock handcuffs?
To unlock handcuffs?
Yes.
Not one
What
of
did he
them.
exactly
ever
do
been
aside from the
trained?
brutality? So the one guy that he's like basically abusing here or whatever, he just I guess had a warrant out for his arrest, and this guy just basically handcuffed him, and he's like making
To
the guy
unlock
do
handcuffs.
like
That's all I'm asking.
painful
Not in the front of
things.
a
I
person's
guess
body.
I don't know.
You sure can.
Make him bend in ways that aren't possible. You know,
10-50
giggity
hours.
goo.
How ludicrous is that? He's trained to unlock handcuffs, but not the handcuffs of a man who has fled from the scene. It's not like the cuffs get some magic spell on them, which makes them difficult to open. But you can tell that it's
I
about to
missed
get
him saying
intense
that. That's
until
funny as
the
fuck,
union
though.
guy steps in and requests a much-needed break. At this point, he needs to get his story straight and apologize. But
More than
instead,
that,
he chooses to make the matter worse by taking this altercation outside the room.
what?
Just listen.
I can do that. Anybody can put it behind it, but putting it back is something totally different.
I can't do it. I used to be able to do it, but I can't do it because I broke my collarbone. I only have limited motion in my right arm now, you know what I mean? If a cop told me to do that, I'd fucking break my collarbone again. I wouldn't be able to do it. Even like lifting my arm in certain angles hurts my whole fucking just right side, you know what I mean? Like if that cop was trying to get me to put my arms like up underneath, like I can't put my arms up underneath like further than that, or I'll break my fucking collarbone, bro. Oh. Oh. When pushing their legs. So yeah, the cop was forcing this guy to do it though. That's the crazy shit. The cop was forcing him to do whatever. Like they don't have the video because it's a private matter or whatever, internal matter. But like yeah, that's a super good point, Alex. Like the cop is forcing this fucking idiot to do that. Oh, God bless, man. Chat, God bless all 7 people in here. Appreciate y'all.
So my question was, here's the question. Have you ever been taught to put a key in a handcuff and unlock it? That is a very simple question. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yo, I love how this woman is taking no fucking shit from this guy who's absolutely just trying to bully her. You know, he's trying to bully her because that's what he's gotten away with his entire life. And this woman is just sitting there like, nah, man, fuck you. Yo, my stepdad did a little Easter egg hunt and hit a bunch of those little loony chocolates. That's awesome. That's fucking fire. I got 1,000 piece puzzle for oh no, I'm dead. 1,000 piece puzzle. Like I've been doing tons of puzzles with my mom and shit, right? So like here, I'll show you one. Oh well, apparently I won't. Apparently I won't. This chick's just like, fuck, I hate my job. They're always psycho.
Sense the frustration of the interrogator here, but before we dive into the depth of what just happened, we need to first show you how the interrogation ends so that the altercation is more understandable.
We are back in the interview room at 10:54 hours.
You feel that, yeah, you can cut it with a knife.
At what point did you realize that Mr. Grant had a warrant?
I believe just after Sergeant Ospina shows up to do his response resistance.
So the handcuffing and the moving the handcuffs around, all of that was already done, right? And he was by the car?
He's being interviewed by Sergeant Ospina by the Ford Explorer.
So the handcuffing thing was done on the ground?
Correct.
And what was his warrant for?
Attempted homicide at
There's
North
no
Carolina,
in
South
between.
Carolina.
That's straight up, dude. I'm not even joking when you say
Officer
that, bro.
Dunlap?
Can we back the video all the way up to the beginning, please?
Look at his hand on his mouth. He's panicking like a motherfucker. Context is cop abusing people.
Mm-hmm.
It's around 2813.
Where's 20?
Stay just like this.
What happened to the PC? So You probably explained it. Yeah, yeah. So I had to take apart my PSU because there's a fan that's oscillating, and there was a wire that got caught on the fan, and it almost broke my fucking PC. It was just sitting there grinding, and it shut my PC down. Remember how I kept sitting there saying I had to smack my PC because it was just making that loud fucking grinding sound? Well, I knocked the wire so loose that it went down into the fan and almost broke it. Yeah. Instead of trying to fix the problem, I just became the problem, you know? So I just took my PC apart and then I went and fixed the problem properly. And cleaned my PC in the process and moved some stuff around. Should have seen all the filth in it. Looks good now, though. My PC's so quiet, I can't. It's not even bothering my microphone. Smoke dust? Exactly. That's exactly it, Squirt. The worst kind of dust.
Did you hear him wince in pain when he pulled his hands up to the front?
No, sir.
That's it.
Do you want to clarify or add any statements made by you during this interview?
No, ma'am.
Is the testimony you provided true and correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any additional identifiable witnesses that may have evidence of material fact in this investigation?
None than the ones listed here on the sheet.
Okay.
How the last part of this interrogation ended in such haste, it clearly had something to do with the altercation outside. And this is just a theory we have that it's possible that Officer Mamone participated in this interview as a standard procedure, not to be facing such hard questions. Think about it. He came in with confidence, thinking that the interview was just a formality to explain what happened, so that his brothers in blue understand the situation and side with him. But as the interview escalated into an interrogation and he realized he was being targeted, it got heated and eventually led to them exiting for a break. One of the biggest supporters of this theory is the interviewer's statement after she left the room.
So my question was, here's the question. Have you ever been taught to put a key in a handcuff and unlock it? That is a very simple question. That's all I ask.
It almost sounds like she's justifying her question to some superior officer who's forcing her to stop asking such questions. That also explains her frustrated return to her seat, as she must have realized that she's not conducting an internal affairs investigation, she's just fulfilling a formality. This theory makes even more sense once you realize that after Officer Mamone's actions were found unreasonable, he was just suspended without pay for 24 hours. Imagine not knowing how to uncuff and recuff someone and intentionally harming...
This motherfucker still has a job as a pretentious douchebag-ass fucking cop. Suck my cock, man. Suck my fucking flaccid penis. Fuck me. Where's the justice?
And how many did you have? Well, that was like my last drink I think I had 4. 4, yeah, about 4, yeah.
This is Gabriel Lyle Schroeder, a 37-year-old Delta Airlines pilot who was just 20 minutes away from going sky high under the influence of alcohol, thanks to a TSA agent's hunch and the officer.
Alright,
On May
The killer clown? Yo.
This is Sheila Warren, also known as the Killer Clown. Sheila earned this nickname back in 1990 when she was a part of a murder investigation where the killer dressed up as a clown and took the life of Marlene Warren. Sheila was never charged with the murder, but 27 years later, DNA evidence led police back to her.
You dirty little bitch.
Joey was at home with his mom and his pals on May 26, 1990, when a clown appeared at
Horror
the front
conditions a
door with
lot,
flowers
fly on
and
pills,
balloons
and
and
they're
a pistol.
common to commit
Marlene
suicide.
was shot in the lip, and she died
extremely
a few days later at the
stressful,
hospital. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office found this
profession.
white Chrysler LeBaron at a nearby
It is an
Winn-Dixie.
extremely
This
stressful
was believed to
profession.
be the killer's getaway car. Physical evidence inside the car was collected. Now, in the early
And they,
phases
like
of
you
the
said, they
investigation,
get
detectives homed in on
horrid
Sheila Keen.
schedules. Yeah.
She was an employee of the victim's husband, and she was having an affair with him. They had motive, but they didn't have enough to bring charges. Not until 2017, when investigators say new technology and new science allowed them to connect the dots after receiving a grant to re-examine old cold cases. In the 90s and in 2017, at the time of her arrest, Sheila Keen said she was not the clown, and she maintains her innocence.
The police believe that Sheila was the killer because she had motive.
Flying alone with
Sheila had been
partners so
having an
different.
affair with Marlene's husband, Michael, and after she was killed, Sheila would marry her husband.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the police, motive wasn't enough, and it wasn't until 2017 that they finally had enough evidence against her to charge her with first-degree
Plus
murder.
people is actually crazy, not knowing if one of them's gonna try and fucking rob you.
She was
for the plane, hijack the plane or some shit, you know?
If you'd like to search her again, ma'am, I'll stand by here.
Or if they brought fucking like some like devices onto the plane to fucking like tamper with it, or like, you know, just never know.
No, I'm good. Do you want any water or anything?
Bro, I remember my first time flying. Everyone's just like, "Oh, you're gonna be so nervous. You're gonna be so nervous." I show up to the airport. We get there at like fucking 4:30 in the morning. We hop on our plane at like 6, and I just hop on the plane, and I'm not even joking. I was asleep before the plane even took off. My buddy wakes me like when we land. My buddy wakes me up. He's just like, "Dude, I've never seen someone fall asleep on a plane before it's taken off before." No, it's just like, fuck. I don't know what to tell you, man. Shit didn't bother me. Like, fuck.
The case from several years ago. Okay.
I need my beauty sleep before we land and start working, you know?
If you don't understand, you just let me know and I'll explain it to you. Just sign that. Just say no. So do you go by Sheila or Debbie? Both, okay.
Your Honor, this man is
Did you ever get your
Eepin.
name legally changed to Debbie? No, you just go by both. Okay. Is Debbie your middle name? Or?
We got a flight
Okay.
lesson. That's pretty cool. It's actually a sick high school program. What?
And are you currently living in the place in Virginia here? No, do you live in Tennessee? Okay. And you just have two places? That place is beautiful.
The sickest thing you've ever done? Yeah, I'd say so. Fuck. If
If
I had better,
You guys own a restaurant together still?
if I had better eyesight, I'd be a pilot.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really, I mean, these questions you're asking me.
I'm just trying to get a background.
Yeah.
That's all. Just trying to get a background of what's been kind of going on in your life, and what's been going on.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to talk to you.
Okay. Do you want to know what you're charged with?
Yeah.
Okay. You're charged with the first-degree murder, okay, of Marlene Warren. So that's what you were indicted in Palm Beach County, and so that's the actual charge. So I came here to try and I don't think that the detectives back then, I didn't work the case when it initially back in 1990. I'm a cold case detective, and I just kind of pick it up, and then I kind of go through all, you know, what they did back in 1990. So I was able to review the statements, review the police reports, and whatever documents they collected back then.
Yeah, ask about your life. It's probably
doing
over.
so,
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that they
How am
really
I,
gave you an
dude? I haven't
opportunity
won
to
a
tell
fucking single heist in like 2
your
days.
side of the story or any of an accurate amount of information. I think they kind of
Get
rushed you
out
into
of
it,
here.
and I don't think that they gave you an opportunity. So I traveled up here to have you charged, obviously, with the first-degree murder after the indictment, but also to give you an opportunity to
to try and explain some things away, or to explain exactly more detailed what happened that day. I mean, I know you had went looking at some cars that day to repo. I mean, you really didn't have an airtight, according to the reports that I read, an airtight alibi, whereas Michael had an airtight alibi.
Back in 1990, when the murder took place, the police believed the victim's husband had been involved because he had been having an affair with Sheila. The police were able to confirm that Michael had a rock-solid alibi, so he was ruled out as the shooter. When they asked Sheila where she had been, she claimed that she had been searching for cars to repossess, but she was unable to give her exact location. The police also learned that a woman fitting her description was spotted buying a clown costume as well as balloons and flowers. When they found the getaway car, they found brown hair that visually matched Sheila's. Despite the evidence, Palm Beach County did not believe they had enough to charge her with murder, so the case would grow cold. Sheila and Michael would eventually marry and begin running a burger restaurant together. Fast forward to 2017, the police were able to gather enough evidence against Sheila that she would be charged with first-degree murder.
So I was wanted to just
stressful shit, bro. If you're innocent, dude, I'd be sick to my stomach. I don't think I'd be able to fucking stomach that, knowing you're facing like fucking death penalty or something. And yeah, you know you're innocent. Like you know 100% you're innocent. You know what I mean? You're facing like life in prison or death. I'd be fucking shaking in my boots. I'd be shaking like a queer eating a hot dog.
So that's the end of the story. I'm not talking to you.
Okay, so you don't want to talk. You don't want to give your side of the story as to what happened. Okay. I'll leave you my business card, and if for some reason you change your mind and you want to talk, just give me a call. I'll be here for a couple of days. Okay? Yeah, go ahead and stay here. I'll circle my number here for you.
Van Dyers, yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
And it can still, convict them if they prove him innocent. I know, it's crazy.
You go ahead
Rip
and just
to
sit right there.
Dyerize, indeed.
I'm seeing
Honestly, I was pretty bored halfway through that shit.
And my purpose was just to have a chat with you for a minute. I'm going to explain to you the process of what's here.
Wait 10 minutes, people, as long as you put away one guilty person, yeah. Well, for a lot of the time, it's like how you get your fucking bonus and like your promotion is being a good prosecutor, you know, putting people away. That's their job, essentially. And the better conviction rate you got,
Here shortly, we'll go before the magistrate.
the better prosecutor you are. Right? Like, that's just
more than likely
the duality of the fucking sword right there.
Extradite you back to Florida. Okay, that'll be the proceedings that we're going through right now. Okay. As far as
How you doing, Almighty?
Questions about that procedure or anything like that? Anything that you need or anything? Okay. But here shortly, I will once that paperwork is done, I will give you a copy of it. Okay. All right. And then it'll have your information and things like that. But if you have any questions or anything like that, you just feel free to ask me, okay? Because we'll be taking it right here.
Yeah, so many people should never be let out, I agree.
Anything?
Like, there's like this one guy that was let out, he was let out of prison.
Okay.
For 21 years, he like
Alright, we'll let
raped
them know
and
that.
fucking
Okay.
murdered a child when he was like 20 years old. Let out of fucking prison when he was like 40. And then went and raped and murdered another kid. Like, what the fuck?
Okay. You asked me to check on the status of your husband. You wanted to talk to him, right?
Yes, sir.
And my understanding, I wasn't inquired about that. My understanding, he just went home.
Okay. So
That's it.
can I call him?
You will be able to when you get to the jail.
Okay.
You'll
You'll have your phone calls up there. But my understanding, he went home.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Need
you.
anything else? All right then.
When Sheila was arrested in 1990 and in 2017, she can be seen smiling in both of her mugshots. Even during her interview with a detective, she can be seen smiling as if what is happening is just a big joke. Unfortunately for her, it isn't a joke, and she was charged with murder.
Wait.
See, that's another thing. You should never smile in your mugshot like that, because a jury would see it as like pretentious.
so I do it correctly.
It doesn't matter. My nickname's Sheila.
All right,
Debbie,
Sheila.
I don't care.
Okay,
Miss
I'm gonna put some
Warren,
cuffs on you,
whatever you
okay?
want to do. Front or back.
All right, we'll put them on the front. How's that?
That's wonderful.
Was that wonderful?
Yeah.
That makes you day. Makes it better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If that was a guy, you definitely put him behind him, though.
Go up to the regional jail.
For sure, buds. For sure.
All right.
See you, I see you, officer.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
I see you.
Raise them up for me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock them.
It is pretentious. Yeah. It is.
Okay.
It definitely is.
Okay.
If you're innocent, though, it's pretty funny.
Make it when we get there.
Just smiling like, I'm getting this lawsuit, bitch.
Sheila would spend 5 years in jail while she waited for her case to go to trial. During this time, she continued to claim innocence, and the prosecution realized that they would have a battle.
Imagine, chill. Imagine having to wait for your fucking sentencing and you're in jail
Ahead of them in
and
court.
you're innocent.
While they prepared
That's
for her
just
trial,
wild.
Sheila would suddenly withdraw her not guilty plea. Her lawyer had worked a deal with the prosecution. In exchange for her guilty plea, her first-degree murder charge would be reduced to second-degree murder instead, and she would receive only 12 years in prison. Due to the state's sentencing guidelines and the fact that she has already served some time, Sheila's release date is set for sometime in 2025.
This trial was supposed to start in just a couple of weeks after numerous delays, most of which centered around key pieces of evidence. But now there's no need for that trial anymore. Sheila Keene Warren pleading guilty to a single charge of second-degree murder. Keene Warren stood before the judge.
Second-degree murder, and mind you, the woman was killed with a gun, right? That woman killed her with a fucking gun. So keep that in mind.
This is 22-year-old Joshua Douglas. Joshua has an extensive criminal history that includes everything.
More like right, bitch. Look like a librarian.
The reason he's about to be interrogated by the
Vegas,
police
I live
is
in
because
Mass.
on November 29, 2010,
from like us in Toronto.
found in the woods.
That's like some shit they recommend. Keep your doors outside. Yeah. Keep keys outside and let them rob you. I know. That's They're like, it's not worth getting fucking. It's not worth having them break in. Just let them leave your keys outside. Let them just take your car.
Not only did he know Jamie, but he lived only a few hundred
Fuck
yards
that,
from where the
man.
body was
I make sure my door is locked every night, man.
How are you?
Someone comes in here and I got a fucking machete right beside my bed.
Yeah, I just got
It's like as
a
long as my
today
fucking
telling me I
leg.
was completely done with probation, supervision, and I don't know what went wrong.
Baseball bats.
Did you have a monitor on you?
I got caught with possession of crack cocaine about 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And I got put into drug court because I was stealing from my work when I was working at a bar.
New York DA? What was this called? They can't release
drug court,
mugshots?
completed all that, probation, supervision, all the classes I had to go to.
Okay.
I think it might depend on the case because they've released
process of
mugshots before.
looking for a job.
All right. Because we brought you down here, okay, in handcuffs like that, and you were kind of forced to come, I'm gonna read you your rights, okay? That way you understand. Because at this time, you know, you're not free to leave, so you need to understand your rights.
Yes,
okay?
I understand.
Yeah.
After reading Joshua his rights, the
He looks
detective
like a
begins
murderer.
talking about the 2 women found
Bro,
near
they
his
all
home.
got that chat. They all got that dead
We're here
fucking
today
stare.
talking to you, okay? Because
They all got it.
we're
Every
investigating the
last
death of the 2
one of
girls
these
that were found
sick
in the woods.
fucks.
Yes, sir.
Over there by your house.
Do I
Yes,
have
sir.
it?
I actually knew one of them,
Which one did you know?
Jamie. Back when I was doing drugs and smoking and everything, I got caught up with her.
You did know Jamie?
Yes, sir.
How long ago was that?
I met her when I, like, 2 years ago, like, right after I first started getting into drugs. She helped me get the drugs I wanted.
Where would y'all buy?
Downtown or in Inslee. Back when Inslee
I'm
was
glad
a
you
bad
guys
area.
like that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like
When was the
that.
last time you saw her?
About a week and a half ago
Where was that at?
in Inslee.
In Inslee?
Yes,
What
sir.
was she doing over in Inslee?
I don't know. She was walking down the street and I stopped her. I recognized her
Oh, God.
and just always hung out for a little bit, talked. I just got dropped off at my house.
I'm fucking
We're
so
going up to
stoned
Walmart
right
to
now,
get a pack
man.
of cigarettes from the Walmart. I started walking down Johnson.
White folks
And
love
we-
our
from there,
man.
we just hung out for
Dancing
probably
off
about
that
an hour
Molly,
or so.
baby.
And then I dropped her back off to where. Trying to think of where Inslee Ballpark Field is and that car wash, that seafood restaurant, whatever it is. I went down that way, and then I think it's the first street on the right there, where they built those new apartments at. Dropped her off right there on the corner.
I'm trying to think exactly.
He's talking about going down Airway and taking a
Yeah.
ride on, I think it's actually Inslee Street right there, actually, where you cut a right and they have those apartments. He's talking about the dead end of Sunnyboy, those new ones.
So
The gated ones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you dropped her off there?
Mm-hmm.
And that was about how long ago?
About a week and a half ago.
Is that before Thanksgiving or after, or?
When was Thanksgiving?
It was a Thursday, like not last
that was-
Thursday.
It was
Thursday before.
Thanksgiving.
I think that was right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
What'd y'all do when y'all hung out?
I'd been drinking that night. Had a few drinks. Just came for a birthday party, and
Ooh, we're gonna
we
level
ended up
up.
just hanging out in the
Nice.
truck. Ended up having sex,
Ooh.
and then that was it. We hung out for maybe 35 minutes after that, and that's when I dropped her off, and then I went home
And where did you actually meet her at?
downtown. Like where I was hanging out with some people that I met from a
Excuse
bar
me.
when I was working at Seville Quarter. Hung out with them. They knew her, and that's when I met her.
That night? I thought you said you saw her walking down the road.
No, not that night I met her. The night that I met
That's
her.
what I didn't clarify my question. I'm sorry. That night that you met her, where did you find her at?
The night that I met her like a week and a half ago.
Yes.
Walking down Johnson.
Walking down Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Was she with anybody else?
Mm-mm. She's just walking by herself.
And you just recognized her?
Mm-hmm.
So you picked her up and y'all just started hanging out?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, he just had
You
those
picked her up and
words,
y'all went
bro.
where now?
We
They
just
just
went
had
up
a
there
way
Sunday
with
in
those
the
words,
football
and she
field
just fucked them.
in the parking lot.
What did you?
Hung out.
The night we met, yeah.
Then where'd you go from the football field?
That's when I went and dropped her off, and then I went home.
You dropped her off from Sunny Boy at the apartments and you went home?
Fixed
sir.
PC has aimbot.
Did you
Always had
contact her
aimbot,
since
Jim.
Nah. She never had a phone. If I seen her or talked to her, just because I seen her walking down the street or something like that.
Okay. So you said
Southern
y'all did have
people,
sex?
bro.
Yes,
the
sir.
Southern wife, my
When-
god, bro. The Southern
night when I
accent
met
on
her.
a wife.
We're at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua's encounter with Jamie would explain why his DNA was found all over her body, but it doesn't explain why it was found on the duct tape itself.
And then y'all kind of parted ways.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a cell phone number for her?
Mm-mm.
Just wind up running into her?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever hang out?
Yeah. I'm talking to from
downtown?
Arkansas.
Little
If he
highways,
sounds like
Atlantic
this,
area?
I
Only if I was
don't
going down
know
there
if
to
I
get
can do
drugs.
it, man.
Where did you buy your drugs from down there?
Just
Oh, God.
whoever she hooked me up
That's
with.
hilarious.
I mean, I didn't know anybody down there. I mean, I'd only been
I
doing
got
drugs for maybe
MFM.
3 months before I finally got busted when I
Georgia.
was working at Seville for stealing.
That's fucking.
And then I had the
That's
drugs on me,
hilarious.
and that's when I got put into the program, and then I had to stop using it after that.
This
You quit
fucking
using?
fire.
What about?
I mean, shit.
So that would have been Friday or Thursday?
Sweet
Thanksgiving Day or
comfort
day after?
It
Georgia.
was the day after.
So it would have been a Friday night.
Yes, sir.
What'd you do after you dropped her off?
I went home. Went to got me some. I got to the house, fixed me something to eat, went to sleep.
About what time do you think that was?
Maybe probably about 3:30 when I got home. Cause I know we left from out there in Milton about
Milton.
1. That's when the party finally cleared out.
Sunday, what'd you do?
That definitely don't do that. I sit around and watch the race. And then I'll go
Did a
feed
bunch
up
of
and then
acid
come back
and
home.
watch the
Was it a
race.
race Sunday?
I watch any race. Either NASCAR, Sprint, whether car racing or truck racing on TV.
So you was at home the whole
race.
time?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feed the horses on Sunday?
Yeah, I feed every day.
About the same time?
Yes, sir.
Then you come back home, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Mm-mm. I don't really do anything on the weekend. This on Sundays, unless my buddy comes over and have a couple beers or something like that at my house.
And breeding
But he didn't even
mutations.
come over that day. He
Just
was
like
with his
Rocky.
girlfriend.
Big old mutt.
Okay. You seen both these girls? in
Big
the
old
news and
mutts.
stuff? Have you been watching any of it?
Yeah, because I was sitting there and my buddy called me. His dad works for Gulf Power. My friend Nick Johnson. His dad works for Gulf Power. He called him and told me that they just found 2 people behind my house. And I was sat there and was peeking over the fence trying to figure out what was going on because I didn't even know. I just woke up.
It appears that Joshua knew this day was coming, which is why he's able to answer the questions.
Yeah,
so
it's called
quickly.
Rocky and
He
inbred
is so
mutation.
focused on these questions that he forgot to ask why he was put in handcuffs, brought down to the police department, and is being questioned about 2 homicides.
What'd you think?
I didn't know what to think. I mean, it was a little freaky finding out that there's 2 dead bodies behind my house.
Yeah, did you see the pictures of the girls on the news?
I've no clue what
So
is
you,
normal.
did you ever know it
so
was
it's
Jamie?
No,
from
until about
Hollywood X. Yeah.
About
I mean,
4 days ago.
bro, where I live,
something like that.
like with the little
When I
town that
spotted
I
it on
live in,
TV. I mean, I'm
people
bad
like
about it. Never used to-
try
that's what I
and be
meant. So you
hicks
have-
and shit
Well,
like
yeah,
that,
like, I
but
didn't know
their
about
parents
it,
are
like, at
literally
first
like multi-millionaires
until
and
about
shit.
a couple of days ago.
You know what I mean?
Because I don't ever
And
really
then,
watch
like,
news. I don't
they'll
never
like
pay
dress
attention
all
to it or
dirty
catch it
and
in time
shit,
to watch anything
trying
on the
to
news.
pretend to be hicks.
And then I spotted it a couple of days ago.
Nothing. When they go camping, they're in
And
an
then you saw it was her?
RV and like
What'd
all
you
this
think when you
crazy
saw it was
ass
her?
shit. It's just like,
I didn't honestly know what to think. I mean, I've never had a friend that was killed unless it was in like a car accident, just mishap or something like that. So I mean, I didn't know what to think.
Did you see a picture of that other little girl?
No, just a picture of her.
You didn't see the other one?
No, sir.
If I show you a picture, you tell me if you know her or not?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't see the second picture of the second girl on the news?
No.
country girls with lake house. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ever seen that girl
Yeah.
before?
No, sir.
Straight up. Live right down Lakeshore Boulevard and shit.
I may have went to. She's younger than me.
Fucking
in high
mini
school,
mansion. Daddy's fortune.
But I don't recognize her, like knowing her wise. But I think she went to my school.
There's this Asian chick I dated
How
in
old are you?
Toronto, and she lived like right
22.
near like
What
the
school did you
harbor
go
and
to?
shit like
Woodham.
that.
Woodham?
And her house, dude,
So you
was
don't
like
recognize
just
her,
like
really?
the
No, sir.
She ever
most
been in one of your
immaculate house
vehicles?
I'd ever been in.
No, sir.
Never?
I mean, not unless anybody else said.
She was fucking
my
crazy,
friends
bro.
knew her because I've had plenty of people that borrowed my truck
Legitimately
before.
crazy.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. I mean, I
Recently?
don't.
Her father loved
No.
me too.
When's the last person to borrow your truck?
There's no tell. I know it ain't nobody drove my truck but me in about a month and a half. It's been about that long since anybody's drove my truck, and I honestly couldn't even tell you who the last person it was that drove it.
So that girl would have no business in your truck then within the last month?
No.
None?
No, sir.
Do you drive any other vehicles?
Just my dad's.
Just your dad's?
And
What-
he's only home on like Monday and Tuesday of the week, and very seldom do I even drive it unless I have to go do something for him during the day.
What type of vehicle does he have?
That blue FJ Cruiser, Toyota. Those little Hummer type
Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah, those are pretty cool little vehicles.
I don't see how y'all like them things.
You don't beat you up, won't it?
No, there's so many blind spots in them. I don't like them.
All right, well,
A rich girl for a bit, but didn't connect with
guess
her.
we'll
Yeah,
just get
it's
down to
exactly
the-
kind of how I felt, bro.
get down to it.
The detective will now explain to
It's
Joshua
just
why he was
doesn't make
arrested.
sense.
We've got these two girls across the street.
They
from
live.
the house, okay,
She
in
was
the
living like a
woods.
completely different life than me. It was like fucked.
We've got you
We
probably.
got
one of the
along
last
super
people
well
to
and
see
shit. It
Jamie.
was just like I don't know how to describe
And
it.
then also, we've got you where you have picked up prostitutes in the past. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got caught a while back when I kind of relapsed on drugs and picked up somebody.
And obviously, if you were hanging out with Jamie, then you were doing crack.
No, sir, I wasn't doing that.
I have
again.
like 4 of
I've
them.
actually
Jesus.
given that up.
Bro, I remember when the
Last time when I got
PlayStation
caught
4
for
first
picking
came
up a
out.
girl,
There
the
was
last time I
like, it was like right
relapsed.
around like Christmas
Haven't touched
time.
the stuff since. I
Okay.
can't even stand to be around it. or
And
smell of
then
it.
this family had
But when you
gotten
were
like
around
3 or
before, she
4
introduced you
PlayStation
to it.
4s.
Yeah.
And there's
That's
like
how
3
you
or
got your
4
crack,
PlayStation
right?
3s
Yes, sir.
out in the
Through her.
recycling bin. I just went and picked them all up, went home, sold them all for
You understand what we're
$250 a
saying?
piece.
Mhm.
You were one of the last people with her.
I was like, these guys are fucking
Right across from
crazy.
your house. She's in the woods.
And they all had their all like they
And
never
we're
reset
here
any of the
hoping,
PlayStations. They
him
had
and
their
I,
accounts on it, all of the games and
hoping
shit
that you
like
come here
that.
and talk to us.
I just went and sold
if
them all.
something
I was
did, if
fucking
something
laughing,
bad did
man.
happen, Josh,
Laughing.
talk to us. We'll work through it, okay? We can't promise you anything. You're not going to get neither one of us to do that. But what we're telling you is we'll talk to you like grown men.
The
and
last
we'll
year I
work through
fucking
everything.
how's
We'll
that
work
even
through it the
happen?
best we can.
Yes, sir.
All right? And hopefully you come in here and you do the right thing and you talk to us and tell us what's going on. Because as you know, when
My
we
first
get to you and we're
PS4, bro,
talking
I
to
sold
you,
to pay
we
child
already know a lot.
support.
Yeah, I know that. I understand. My stepdad used to do this.
Your stepdad did? Who's your stepdad?
Rusty Beyonce.
Yeah, he did. So you know what I'm saying? You know, we're not in here slamming you. Not in here, you see that. We're not in here screaming and yelling at you.
Yes, I understand.
But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you we wouldn't like you to talk to us like a grown adult. and
Is
tell
that
us
one?
what's
That's
going
crazy.
on.
I understand that.
I mean, I'd be lying if I'd said otherwise. Hopefully,
Central Mass got True Hicks
talk to
though.
us and let's
Central
work through
Mass.
this
What's
thing and
Central
get this
Mass?
thing
What do you
taken
mean, like
care of.
Central Mass of the continent?
all right? I mean, we're in here now. Should be a huge weight lift off your shoulders, man. You know, take a deep breath and let's get here and talk and let's do the right thing.
Massachusetts. There.
That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I don't.
Because we're not in here for no reason,
I understand that.
Josh.
Joshua.
We didn't just single you
Joshua.
I understand.
You know what I mean? We wouldn't have come got you just to single you out and to hurt you and say, hey, let's go get Josh because he picked up a prostitute before. That's definitely not how this works. Neither him and I would never do anything like that. What we're telling you is we think something bad has happened, or we know it has. We think that you're possibly involved, and we're hoping you'll come in here and talk to us.
No, sir. I mean, I can't. There's no way I could hurt somebody like that. I mean, I've had a girlfriend before that me and her had arguments, that sort of thing. I mean, she's broke my nose, gave me a fat lip. I mean, I never did nothing about it. I mean, working at Seville as a bouncer, I had to learn if a girl put her hands on her, there ain't nothing I can do about it. So, I mean, I couldn't hurt somebody like that. I mean, couldn't even stand getting in fights myself. Because, I mean, as much as I could hate somebody, I still feel like shit afterwards if I hurt them.
Right. Well, I mean, and I can see it all over your face now. I think you feel like crap now.
Yeah, I mean,
finding
out now that I was the last person to see somebody.
Well,
I mean,
possibly, yeah. I mean, it's a strong possibility.
The detective will now ask Joshua about his sexual interactions with Jamie. Could something have happened during one of their encounters, and was duct tape ever used?
Was it rough?
No.
Okay. Everything consensual?
Yeah.
Okay. Use any props?
No.
Just you and her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you use protection?
No, sir. I mean, like I said, I've been drinking that night, wasn't really thinking. Just one thing led to another, and that's what happened.
You were walking through a swamp today. Was there anything in the swamp?
My friend Jennifer, my friend.
See anything in the
Nick
swamp?
And his girlfriend Jennifer.
This dude seems on the spectrum.
Well, they're not at the same time. They're not.
I think it's just his accent.
Apart, but they just had a party together.
Okay. So the party was for them.
Yeah.
You said this.
Or did you
sex was
mean me?
consensual.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you don't recognize this girl?
No, sir.
And when you saw that picture of Jamie on the television, did you think that you should contact us? I mean, you had sex
No,
with
this
her?
dude's getting stung small. Yo, that's sick. Watch out for them alligators and cracking gills.
And shocked. I kind of made me sick to my stomach. I mean, just thinking about it again, I'm kind of getting a little nauseated myself. But I mean, it was just something I didn't know how to cope with. Like, I mean, I never had somebody killed, so unless they're in a car
I'm on
accident.
a Professor X Mega Mind level.
Positive about the day of the week that the party was.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's hilarious.
Without a doubt.
Yes, sir.
And did she say who she
Law and
was?
Order? Yeah, something like that. Something
No,
like
sir.
that, for sure.
I just knew that she had a friend that she stayed over there with every now and then, but she never told me who.
Guy or girl?
It was a girl.
Did you ever know Jamie to have a phone?
No, sir.
Joshua is about to be presented with their biggest piece of evidence, which is that his DNA was on the duct tape. Before the detective even has a chance to tell him, Joshua already has an explanation ready to go.
If we were to say that we know you had sex with her,
these are their
and we know you did more than have sex with her, what would you say?
Yo, shit, be getting copyrighted or no? Not these.
You remember using duct tape?
No. I know there's duct tape missing on my truck, but I ain't never used no duct tape.
Really? Missing out of your truck? What would make you think that there's duct tape missing out of your truck?
Because I always use it. I always use it when I go out working on the farm, working around the house.
Yeah.
I always have it either in my truck, or it's in my room, or it's in my garage on top of our toolbox.
Do you have any right now?
No, sir.
How do you know it's missing?
Because I went to go use it a couple of days ago, and it wasn't in my truck. And I just figured maybe my friend Nick had gotten it when he came over the other day to get his rifle out of my truck.
Oh, my truck!
What if
Oh,
we
my
said that
truck!
the tape that's on Jamie has your DNA on it?
Other than me having it in my possession.
Tape's sealed up. It's taped down. I mean, you can't crawl between the adhesive.
Well, I know that.
Okay. So if your DNA is on that tape, how did it get there?
I don't honestly know. I really don't.
I think you do.
I swear to God, I don't. I mean,
it's all over you, man. I mean, we do this.
You hear it in his voice, you can see it in his face.
I mean, we can tell you want to talk to us and do the
He's
right
got
thing.
the fucking killer stare.
It's all over you, Josh.
I really don't know. I mean, I was freaking out. I figured I was here for something like you fell on probation.
You knew. You knew exactly what it was.
I swear I didn't.
I swear.
You gonna tell us how you know the other girl?
He killed her? Oh, yeah.
I don't know her.
Never seen her.
Probably raped her and killed her.
So then none of that duct tape on that we got out of the woods should have your...
I don't know. I mean, all I know is I don't have any in my truck anymore.
And nobody's been in your truck for a month, right?
No, I have people that ride in my truck, but I mean, stuff falls.
Yeah, don't know they can lie to you. It's crazy. I know.
No,
bro.
yeah, nobody's drove it but me. But I have people that ride in my truck all the time with me.
Imagine killing a woman that's behind the scene. I know.
Yeah.
People are
They
just
steal it
fucking
from you?
losers. Most of the
wouldn't
time,
steal?
bro, honestly, most of the time, women just get killed just for sex. You
Where
know
do
what I
you
mean?
keep your duct tape?
Literally.
Just sitting in the
I'd
seat
say, like,
or on the dash.
honestly, almost
It'd
close
be
to like
kinda hard to
90%
sneak
of the
it past
time.
you if you're just driving.
It's
and
just
sitting
like
right there in
sex.
front of you.
I honestly don't
Just
pay
'cause of
attention
sex.
half the time. I mean, my
That's
friend
it.
Nick, he's gotten it plenty of times, and I
It's
didn't know it.
fucking
I'll
wild.
call him up, needing it or something. I'll ask him, "Do you get my duct tape?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it."
Joshua, everything you're saying
fucking
is just screaming deception. Everything you're saying right now tells me that you are trying to wiggle, squirm, go any kind of direction, but take responsibility. Be a man. Tell us the truth of what's going on. Because right now I can see it all over your face, and you're just sitting here trying to make any kind of excuse to put yourself away from it. You're not in this room just to play with us. We brought you in here for a reason.
I know,
Okay?
I understand.
And the reason is we want to hear the truth from you. That's all we're after, the
I'm
truth.
Telling the truth.
You're not telling the truth.
I mean, you're in a world of
Another fucking 10K.
today's the day,
bro.
man. I don't know how to explain it to you. Today is probably the biggest day of your life.
Turn on status
What you're doing
bar.
right now was
Status
in
bar's in the bottom right.
This is the biggest decision you'll ever
here.
make in your life. Now you can talk to us and you can tell us what's happened. And we'll all try to
Aren't these them?
work through it. Like I said, I can't promise you nothing. I wouldn't do that. And you can be a man. All right, which is what you need to do, and you can get this big burden lift off of you, which is what you're wanting. It's all over you.
We
Or
realize it's hard.
Yeah.
We realize this is not an easy thing to say or do. But, you know, the truth will set you free. That you hear that your mom saying that, truth's going to feel better, man.
And here's a fact.
Well, that's fucking no
Good people, Josh, make mistakes.
Health and prayer, bro.
I make mistakes every day. Because something happened does not mean you're a bad person.
Not to plug in.
Not at all. Good people make mistakes. I fall short every day, Josh. But what you've got to do is good people man up.
Status bar.
And take responsibility.
You mean skilled progress bars?
What went wrong? That's all we want to know. That's really what it comes down to. What went wrong that made this happen?
No,
that's all we want to know.
Installed.
Because we don't think he went there to do this.
No, I mean...
Joshua is being accused of murder, yet he sits quietly listening to the accusations. When the detective asks him if it could have been an accident, Joshua begins thinking of a solution to his problem.
And we know it happened.
I taped her up.
What does it do?
Right, talking about that. Like I said, I mean, like, the choking and I can't do, and she managed to talk me into, like, taping her up, like, where she can't talk, and that sort of thing. Like, so I put tape around her mouth and all, around her face.
And when she stopped breathing, what'd you do?
What?
She never stopped breathing.
When you dragged her down that trail. And you dragged her down that trail.
I didn't do that.
And you put her in the woods. What were you thinking?
I literally didn't do that because she didn't never stop breathing.
Bro,
because I nose up. I covered her mouth up.
Joshua thinks that his new explanation will
Bro, all my
but it only
plugins
makes him
got
appear more
reset
guilty.
because I took apart
Jamie's
my
body
PC.
was found with duct tape on it, and Joshua claims that he put the duct tape there, but that she was alive when they parted ways. So according to Joshua's new story, she would have had to leave him with the duct tape still on her body, and then she walked across town. It appears that Joshua didn't think this one through.
That's the only thing I covered up was her mouth.
You realize that, you know, the medical examiner, when they do an autopsy, they can tell us what kind of trauma happens to the inside of a woman. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
She's tore
cool.
up, man. DNA is all
Cool,
over the
cool.
tape.
That's pretty cool, Brian.
That's what we're here.
I know, I just told you,
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
we had sex, and I ended up getting talked into taping her up.
She was tore up. The medical examiner said it was the worst she had ever seen. And she's been doing this a long time. She probably does 20 or so bodies a week. Do you always tape them up?
No. She was the first, and the only reason I kind of did it was because I didn't have, like, the kind of relationship feeling like I would for, like, a girlfriend of mine. So I kind of didn't feel as weird about it as I would with doing it with one of my actual girlfriends.
How many
So I mean, it was. I figured I'd give it a try one time.
Here's the question, Josh. You had sex with her. You taped her up. How the hell do you drop her off with tape all over her face? You didn't do that.
I didn't.
You know you did.
No, the only thing she did was just took it off her mouth.
She had it all over her when we found her, Josh.
It's there. It's still on. Why would she be in those woods after having sex with you, after being taped up with you, and be dead if you dropped her off blocks away, Josh? That doesn't make sense. Think about it. Now, you can sit here and tell us this crap all this
Oh, that's cool. It shows you how much it's going to fucking heal too.
You're trying to wiggle and squirm.
Cool.
Look,
like
just
that.
go ahead.
I mean, it
It's gonna
actually
be
shows
hard,
you
but
like
me and him
underneath
have
as
heard
well, but-
everything you could possibly imagine. You ain't gonna
So
tell us no
pretty nice.
freaky deaky thing. But what we know what happened, we know something went wrong. We want to know what went wrong. We want to know the moment it went wrong.
Come here, beautiful.
That's what we want to know. Because you didn't drop her off, and you didn't drop her off with her just pulling her tape
Okay,
off.
fine. Go lay on the bed
You
then.
placed her in those woods
Be
with
like
that tape
that.
there, and you're describing what we saw when we found
Don't
the
come
body.
over here and
which
get
means
love.
We definitely know that you were there and you saw her there in the woods with that tape pulled off her mouth, because this is exactly right. And the only person besides law enforcement that know that is you. And you know why? Because you were there when she was dead. And we know that. You've
Yeah,
just
helpful.
proved it
Yeah, I
to
appreciate
us.
that, Brian.
Now,
You're
the
the
only
goat, bro.
question is,
W's
what
in the chat for
happened
Brian,
to
everyone.
put you
Fucking
there
G.
at that moment in time? What went wrong?
She
Tell us.
really wasn't dead when I left. Was not
What
with
was she
her.
doing? She's suffering? Crying?
No.
Dude, you left her in the woods. You didn't drop her off, did you? You
Yes,
left her in
I
those
did
woods.
drop her off. I swear.
And she walked all the way. That's more than a little walk. And the way you got to go to get there, I know that area.
With tape all over.
You'd have to go all the way to Airway, and then you have a choice to go all the way up the 9 Mile Road, all the way to Johnson Avenue, go all the way down to Chisholm Road, and come back up or down, and cut across JoJo to get across that field. And Josh, there's no way in this earth that she did that.
I just want to get like fucking base 80
Not
stats
nude.
shot.
She's
I'll be
nude,
happy with
Josh.
that. And then I'm gonna
She's
max
nude.
out strength and Slayer.
Look, we're trying to see what went wrong. But this outlandish story ain't gonna
And then
fly,
from
okay?
destruction.
Tell us the truth. Let's just get past this. You're gonna feel better, and we're gonna know. We'll have answers for this family.
Closure.
We'll have answers. You understand me? You're there. Look, let me tell you. You're not going anywhere. All you gotta do is tell us what went wrong. That's all we want. Look at me, Josh. That's all we want. Just tell us. We already know what happened. I just want to know why it happened.
God damn. That's the good shit.
It's going to feel better. Just go ahead and say it. Just us in here. It starts with...
I just don't know what to say, man. I got...
Josh, she's nude in the woods. You're the with her. Start there.
Just gonna need a prayer from 1
Did
to
you
40.
pick those woods to
Yo,
have sex?
Tanner,
I don't think so.
you're an absolute G. I can't believe I got you
took her
playing
those woods. We
RuneScape,
see
bro.
where you dragged
I'm
it
so
on the ground
fucking
there.
so hyped
Tell
on
us
that.
what went wrong.
You're
Why'd you
a
have to put her
legend.
there?
I can't
That's
believe I
what
got
we
you playing
wanna know.
RuneScape. Hope you
You know
enjoy
those
it.
woods like the back of your
It's super
hand. You grew
addicting,
up
and then
across
like
the
you won't play
street.
it for like 4 years, and then you'll go back and play it for like 4 years, and you won't play it for 4. You know, like I just started
What
playing
went
this
wrong,
game again,
Josh?
like the other week.
Anyway, I might be
I
able
took
to
like a
stop and
5-year
step
break
there.
or 4-year break or whatever.
Maybe after we talk to you for a little bit.
Because there's a bunch of Venezuela.
I'm
I
sure
did
we
like,
can arrange to talk to
bro,
'em
I did like a
Monday.
huge fucking draw party.
What
I'm not
made
even
you
joking.
take
I
her
did a
there?
huge
What
draw
made you
party
put her
on
in the woods
like
there?
World
Put her
420, and I got
Josh,
rid of my
your
bank, which was
story.
like 10
Think
bill
about
or
it.
some shit
I
like
dropped
that.
this
I
nude
just got rid of
girl
everything,
off
and
taped up
fucking
3 blocks
yeah.
from where she ends up dead. No way. Come on.
No one ever quits. Yeah, just take long breaks. Exactly.
Had an apartment
Saying his
complex
old
with
as
a bunch of
time.
people.
You don't quit.
Well,
You
right
merely
up
just
in
take a
the-
That would have
break.
been
Well,
nice.
right out
Had you
front.
done that, we wouldn't be here, Josh. Had you done that, we wouldn't be here. The reason why we're here is because that's not what you did.
During
Okay.
the draw parties, dude, I loved it. Watching the rats scurry
It's
during the
pretty
draw
simple.
party. I remember one time just dropping a bill cash stack, bro, and people
All we're
like
after
it
is
caps
what
out on
happened.
what it
We
shows
wanna
on
know
the
what
drop.
went
People
wrong.
didn't believe it was a bill until
That's
this
what
guy
went
went
wrong,
around
Josh.
trading,
How?
showing it was a bill.
We're not
Everybody
playing
said,
games
"What the
with you,
fuck?"
but we're gonna
That's why the
keep
name.
checking you out
That's
now
why the
'cause
name's
it's
Goat
tricky,
of
and it's
World
just us doing our
420.
job 'cause we
They
know
deemed
what
me the
happened.
goat
We know
of
what
World
happened.
420. You
And when
know,
you tell us these outlandish
that's how it
stories,
is.
it's killing you. It's killing you.
It's just how it is. To this day, I'll
The
log
best
on and I'll
thing
still
you
have
can do
like
right
all these
now
people from back in the day added, and they'll all just like
is
start
man
talking to
up,
me.
Josh.
Brimstone and
And
Battle
tell us
stuff.
what happened. That's
It's
the
a sick
best
little
thing you
drop
can do.
right
That's all I
there.
can tell you.
There you go.
Tell us what happened.
I
Did she
have.
tell you
That's-
something about her that upset you?
No.
You sure about that?
26. I'll be
Positive.
leveling up here pretty soon as well.
What happened? Was it an accident?
Nothing was an accident. I didn't do anything. I just rather talk to my dad right now and get me an attorney because I done said everything I know. I mean, that's all I did. That's all I remember it. I
Did
did
you
it
get
that
him to
night.
crack?
I mean, if I had did it, I mean, yo, I seen it right behind my house. If I did it, I would have been running by now. I mean, I didn't know what was going on.
I want to start an Ultimate Iron Man.
Well, I mean,
I think that's what my next goal is. An Ultimate Iron Man chat. Like Iron Man, you can't use like trades and shit or pick stuff up off of the ground unless it's like in-game items. It's crazy. No bank looks fucking insane. Yeah, I don't think I would do no bank. Like, you can have a bank.
For instance, the coin high score not matching up. Historically, these were the only methods to try and detect splicing, but thankfully in 2023, a brand new method was created.
I would do bank.
In 2016, SM64 scientist Pan and Coke released a video outlining the mechanics around character blinking. The video covers blinking mechanics for a host of NPCs, but the most relevant information pertains to Mario. Mario will blink every 64 frames, which is just over every 2 seconds. This is extremely consistent. It's not affected at all by Mario's movement, and more importantly, the blinking timer remains constant even when entering and exiting levels. This means that if you see Mario blink before he enters a level, you should be able to count frames and predict exactly when he should blink again once inside. Of course, Mario's eyes aren't always visible, but that doesn't matter. If you miss one blinking cycle, or even several, you can just continue to count, and as long as the next visible blink is still on that 64 frame cycle, it's okay. It seems pretty obvious now, but it actually took 7 years for someone to finally realize that keeping track of Mario's blinking would be a good way to detect possible splices. And it would be the 120-star world record holder Ouija who would come to this realization in mid-2023. The easiest time to see when Mario blinks is when he grabs a star and after he exits a level, as his eyes are clearly visible for a long time. And given that all of the stars in a 16-star run are relatively short, it's very easy to calculate when Mario should blink. In practice, of course, there is some nuance to it. For example, you do need to remove some frames when the blink timer pauses briefly between level transitions, but it's still all very consistent and predictable. From here, SM64 historian Frosty Zarko would begin trawling through some of the ancient Japanese records, testing this theory. Upon examining the record from Shigeru, achieved a day after Tsukushima's record, he found that Mario's blinking behaved exactly as the theory predicted. In fact, there was not a single instance found in the entire run where the blinking didn't behave as expected. However, when looking at Tsukushima's run, the blinking was all over the place. On at least 9 different stars, Mario blinked at completely unexpected times, indicating that there had to have been a splice. There is simply no other explanation. Several weeks after Tsukushima's record was determined to be spliced, footage of an even older run he did from 2010 resurfaced. This was a 16-star run of 1620 that was performed on emulator. Again, the blinks were inconsistent, confirming splices, but this time, the run even had continuity issues. In the stage Womp's Fortress, when he collected the first star, he obtained 5 coins. So when he re-entered the stage, it showed he had a coin high score of 5. This makes sense. But after collecting the second star of the stage and entering again, it now showed a coin high score of 12. This doesn't make sense because on the second star, he didn't obtain any coins at all, so his coin high score should still have been 5. Errors like this can happen if you splice runs and don't check all of the details.
And we're getting
it's apparent
gains.
that Tsukushima had been cheating
I
for
fixed
over
my
a year
PC as
and
well.
had begun
Rick D, my
cheating
PC
almost
fucking
immediately
was
after joining the
grinding, like-
community.
so there's
This
a loose
also
wire
puts
in my
massive doubt
PSU,
on the world record
and it
he
was like
achieved
it
in the
hitting my
first
fan, and
Bowser
it like
stage,
ended up
where he was
catching on my fan,
honored
and it
by
made
having
this
the
awful
fastest
grinding
cycle
sound, and it
named
like
after
shut down my
him.
PC.
I'm curious to see if
He's
people
like,
now
"Oh,
start
fuck, well,
calling it
there's my
something
PC,
else.
it's toast,
And just
you know?
as I was making this
And I was
video,
like, yeah, I
it
might
was
as well just go
confirmed
take
that
it
even
apart and look.
Fukushima's single
So
level
I
world
took apart
records
the
from back in
PSU and then, like,
2011
figured
were
out which
faked as
cable
well.
it was,
The
and
most
then,
obvious example
yeah.
is on his run of the third Bowser stage.
Fixed
After
it,
doing this long
essentially.
jump and taking
And
fall
now it's
damage,
literally
you can
so
see Mario's
quiet, I
health
could,
bar
like,
warp instantly to
go
the
to
top of
sleep
the
at night and
screen.
hear my
This
PC
isn't
running.
what's supposed to happen. Looking at a
wild.
legitimate run, you can see the health bar remains
It's
lower for a little
wild.
while longer and then
I was like,
smoothly
damn, I
moves
should
to
have
the
done
top
this,
of
like,
the
weeks
screen.
ago.
This even happens when
I
you
was just
pause
sitting
the
there,
game.
like, smacking
so what
the side of
happened
my
is that
PC.
Tsukushima paused the game after
Right.
making the jump
I'm not
and
even
taking
trolling,
damage.
it was just
While
smacking the
game
side
was
of my PC.
paused,
Shut
the
the
health
fuck
bar
up.
moved to the top of the screen, so that when he unpaused, the health bar was already at the top. The reason he paused is so that he could create a save state to keep retrying from this point. Then later, he used video editing to remove the pause.
Should've brought my
I can
pistol
create the
dagger,
same
bro. I don't
effect
even know
using
why I
this
did.
clip. When the game is paused, you can see the health bar move. But if I
Kinda a
remove
trippy
the
game,
pause,
bro.
it will
RuneScape's
instantly
like,
warp.
I played
So it
RuneScape
really
when I was
seems
in
like
grade
everything
3,
that
bro.
Tsukushima
I'm
did
like 26
was a
years
total
old,
lie.
turning 27.
Tsukushima isn't the
So you
only
do the
player
math.
that's been caught with this new method. A couple of recent
remember
runs
playing,
from
like,
even
the old
within the last
RuneScape
year
as well,
were caught
just, like,
as well.
just
And when
RuneScape.
exposed, exposed, the person admitted they were spliced.
wild.
These runs, however, weren't from the very top players, and they were
That was
also
completely
achieved
different than this
offline.
shit, bro.
As I mentioned
I
at
remember,
the beginning
bro,
of the
back in
video,
the day,
players that live stream their
I remember
attempts
back in the day,
are
my
far
first
less
time playing
likely
this,
to cheat,
my
and
buddy went to
essentially all of the top
Lumbridge,
SM64 runners play
and
live. The simple fact
gave
is
me
that
an
the
admin
overwhelming
cemetery,
majority of cheated
and I felt like the
speedruns are
biggest
from people who
fucking
play in
badass, 'cause
secret
at
and
school
then
no one
upload
had
their
one.
runs to YouTube.
And I'm just like
This is
walking
why so
around with
many
an admin
ancient
cemetery
runs
and
end
like
up
showing
getting
it in my
exposed.
trade
Back
inventory
in the
'cause I
day,
couldn't even
hardly
equip it 'cause I
anyone
was such a
streamed,
noob.
and cheating really was a lot more common,
I was just
which
walking
just
around
goes to
big
show
dicking
how
in
important
Runescape for a
streaming
little
is
bit.
and how
It was good
important good
times.
proof standards are. Again, a big thanks to Drogi for his video on the subject. Go and subscribe to his channel.
Good times, good times. Rick D. Shawnee, good job, boys. God damn. Let go. On crazy essay. Oh, we looked at this channel already. Let's see what Runescape's saying. Let's go attack. Come on. Himidi ha who. Any good videos? Any good videos? So is old school RuneScape like classic WoW? This is old school RuneScape. This literally is old school RuneScape. OSRS. This is it. Bro, these drops are not bad. There you go, buddy. Start barraging. The fuck out of here. Need 16 more. Is it like OG game or more like a classic one? Maybe? No, I mean, call it RS3. I tried the other RuneScape before this. Oh, RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 is kind of dog shit. Like, RuneScape 3 is like newer. No,
Based on the research done by a large number of studies,
no
it is said that at
shot.
some
Chill. Dark Side of Fame? Oh, I didn't.
point in our lives, the idea of becoming famous will pass through nearly all of our minds, whether it be through a dream, a conscious desire, a fantasy, or a goal that we were actively attempting to achieve. It appears that to many, fame is generally associated with success, despite that not always being the
that's not
case.
true.
For many current stars, becoming famous has happened through a stroke of luck, through a one-hit wonder, through a connection to somebody already famous, or in our present world, possibly even through an accident that has gone viral via social media platforms. Although the words fame and fortune are generally seen side by side, this does not necessarily mean that everybody that is famous is also in the possession of mass fortune. For example, in the current world, This could be due to a media platform having specific monetization rules surrounding the content that said person is producing. Although the content creator may have a large and quickly growing viewer base, very specific guidelines are expected to be followed strictly in order to actually make any money at all. To sum all of this up, sometimes the idea of fame and fortune is actually only one of the two. In other cases, however, fame and fortune is a correct and exact representation of the situation. But what actually happens psychologically to a person that achieves this level of fame and fortune? Well, it seems that for most, there is quite an intense mental process that is very common amongst those that have experienced this. This can be referred to as the phenomenology of fame. To break it down, some of the initial effects that one can expect to experience once becoming famous are a loss of privacy, an increase in demand of personal expectations, an increase in difficulty when seeking gratification to fulfill ego needs, an initial disconnect from previous spending habits, as well as an increase in the feelings of mistrust, isolation, and insecurity.
That's true.
There's also 4 temporal phases that each of these recently famous people will have to experience as well. These phases being love and hate towards themselves and the changes that they are experiencing, addiction to the increase of wealth, access and temptation, or coping mechanisms, acceptance of being as famous as they have become, and then adaptation to understanding the life that they have now found themselves living. For many that experience this rise to fame and fortune, processing the sudden changes is much more difficult, which may lead to an overindulgence or substance abuse problem, severe depression, or suicidal tendencies. Tragically, we have lost many to this issue. Although this process is extremely difficult for some, it appears that for others it is quite a welcomed and comfortable process. At least, it appears that way publicly. Often, what the public does not tend to see or hear about via media sources is the effect that this life may have on the spouse and the family of said person.
But I'll tell you, I'm a lucky man.
Aspects of trading are really
My
integral.
lovely wife, Bryn. Our anniversary's coming up, and I want to buy her a diamond necklace.
Yeah.
Just to show her what's important to me.
I
Family,
mean, I don't know. OSRS is probably my favorite version. This is my favorite version of RuneScape.
Michelob.
Like 2007.
That should cover the necklace.
This is Phil Hartman. You may remember him from such
2007.
roles as Phil Fimple in Small Soldiers, the Marlax in Coneheads, Ted Malton in Jingle All the Way, Major Colin Thorne in Sergeant Bilko, and numerous roles in Saturday Night Live.
Well, I hope I've answered your questions as best I could, given the very little that I know.
How could one so perfect be so flawed?
Dearest. Not now. I'm busy.
Of a Franz Pimmick.
Franz, of course, the civil engineer from Zurich, whose wife is expecting a baby any minute.
You know, I'm surprised to see you. I didn't think we had anything.
Nothing like other MMOs
Or
you
even
tried. Yeah, it's
Troy
pretty
McClure
unique.
from The Simpsons.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such nature
My
films
most
as
hated people.
Earwigs, Ooh!
Many fans consider Phil Hartman's role in The Simpsons to be one of his best and most recognizable, simply because Troy McClure's voice and bravado were so similar to that of Phil himself. Many also consider Phil to be one of the greatest Saturday Night Live cast members of all time, alongside Mike Myers, Chris Farley, David Spade, Adam Sandler, Tina Fey,
The big boy here, Chris, man. He's one of my faves.
Chris Rock, and many, many more. For those that have witnessed Phil in action, it would be hard to deny that Phil had an outstanding ability to control the stage and captivate the audience. Although many of his fellow Saturday Night Live counterparts shined by using their energy and charisma,
Now you kids are probably asking yourselves, hey Matt, how can we get back on the right track?
Phil's talent seemed to shine through his charm and confidence.
This'll happen to you. You're a little
Legends.
boy too, but if you ever have a girl, you become an instant feminist. Anybody gets in the
And
way of
people
my
are
little
edged.
girl. None
Fair.
of this glass ceiling stuff. She's going straight to the top of the executive.
And RuneScape
Phil
Rebooted
had an
is
impressive
now
ability to maintain the features
RuneScape
of
3,
himself
isn't
that
it?
fans grew to know and love, while also morphing into the many different characters he portrayed throughout his career. Although Phil became many different characters, it appears that to many of his fans, the most exciting part about watching him play these roles wasn't to see a comical Bill Clinton or a goofy caveman, but instead, it was the opportunity to see Phil Hartman on the TV or stage once again. Now, let's start at the beginning. Phil Hartman, aka
I wonder if that's
Philip Edward
actually him
Hartman,
cooking
was
his
born in
mouse.
Brantford, Ontario, Canada, on September 24th,
Hey, shout out
1948,
Canada, let's
to
go.
mother Doris Margaret and father Rupert Lobig Hartman. When Phil was only 10 years old, his family moved to the USA, living in Connecticut, and then California, USA. When he graduated from Westchester High School, he went on to attend the Santa Monica City College, but dropped out in 1969 to join the road crew of a rock band. A year later,
What a
Phil
rebel.
married his first wife, Gretchen Lewis. Just 2 years into the marriage, in 1972, Phil and Gretchen separated, and Phil went back to school to obtain a degree in graphic arts at the California State University Northridge campus. He went on to become a fairly successful entrepreneur as a graphic designer, developing logos and cover art for over 40 albums for bands such as Crosby, Stills and Nash and Poco and America. In 1975,
I totally know
just
them.
after Phil turned 27, Phil found himself growing more and more interested in comedy. He then began taking an evening comedy class ran by the Groundlings, which included other well-known comedians such as Paul Rubens. As Phil's interest in comedy grew, he found himself using it as a way to express his creativity and his confidence. He would frequently attend
yes,
the Groundlings
okay.
comedy show, and then one night,
yes,
mid-show,
indeed.
Phil was asked to join them on stage. Phil stole the show. It wasn't long before he was invited to join the act and became one of the group's most well-known performers. Phil even went on to work with Paul Rubens in the development of several characters, including Pee Wee Herman. In 1979, Phil began voice acting in the animated series Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. He had also
bro.
had his first
I love that cartoon as a kid.
on-screen
Scooby and
debut
Scrappy?
in the musical action
Shit was
drama
fire.
Stunt Rock, which was released that same
Fire.
year. A year later, in 1980, Phil played in a series of smaller roles, such as The 6 O'Clock Follies and The Gong Show movie. In 1981, Phil Hartman and Paul Rubens staged a live performance of The Pee Wee Herman Show, which was later broadcast
Pee Wee
on
Herman never
HBO.
gave a fuck about it.
1 year later,
honestly.
in 1982, Phil married his second wife, Lisa Strain. Just 3 years after that, in 1985, Phil and Lisa divorced. 1 year later, Phil went on to co-write the scripts for Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, as well as the TV series Pee Wee's
So
Playhouse.
good. I've watched
He
that
even
one,
joined the
yeah.
cast of Pee Wee's
Super good.
Playhouse as Captain Carl.
Super good.
This same year, 1986, Phil was set up on a blind date where he met former model and aspiring actress.
She looks like a
Bryn
fucking drug addict.
Omdahl. They married quickly, only 1 year after meeting. Over the next several years, Phil Hartman's career began to explode. He went on to voice both Henry Mitchell and George Wilson, aka Mr. Wilson, in the animated series of Dennis the Menace, as well as playing a role in the Hollywood film Three Amigos alongside Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin. It was that year, in 1986, that Phil's run on Saturday Night Live began, in which the rest of the cast nicknamed him The Glue, due to his helpful, caring, and considerate attitude. Over these years, Phil also played roles in Blind Date, starring Bruce Willis, Quick Change, starring Bill Murray and Gina Davis, and, as mentioned earlier, Coneheads, starring Dan Aykroyd.
Only one of those
and
I've
his
seen is
long-term role
Coneheads,
as
and I was
Lionel
like
Hutz
super
and Troy
fucked up off
McClure
him. Yeah,
on The
man.
Simpsons. After his run on SNL, in 1994, Phil Hartman began his 3-year run as Bill McNeil on the TV series News Radio, in which Phil received a TV Land nomination for this role. By this point, Phil had already received the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing in a variety or music program for his writing on Saturday Night Live. It was around the beginning of Phil's time on SNL, in 1986, that Bryn and Phil began their relationship. As Phil's career continued to become more and more
This is
successful,
like way back in
Bryn's
high
toxic
school.
traits
Wow.
became more and more
Fuck, I
apparent.
feel old.
Bryn already had a lifelong history of abusing substances like alcohol, cocaine, and narcotics before meeting Phil. But it seemed the pressure and envy of Phil's fame began to exacerbate these issues. Bryn quickly became very jealous of Phil and would constantly nag at him to pull strings in his workplace to get her as many roles as possible. Although Phil welcomed Bryn to spend more
Looks like
time
a drug
backstage
addict.
or on the set of SNL,
Like,
it
it's
wasn't
really
long
bad one,
before she
too.
became very resentful
Face
of
is
his
all sunken
inability
in.
to land her in any quality roles. She would constantly flirt with other SNL cast and crew members. She would also ask
Like
several of them to try and
PTSD?
assist her in the search
I
for acting work.
mean, nah, I was
Her
just
substance
watching it with
abuse
some
issues
chicks, so it was
escalated,
actually
and her
a really
emotions
good time.
became unpredictable and overly reactive. When Phil and Bryn would get into arguments, Bryn began becoming slightly physical, throwing things at Phil, including dishes and alcohol bottles. It wasn't long before Bryn would attempt to receive treatment at multiple different rehabilitation centers on
She's
multiple
drug
different
addict.
occasions. However, Bryn would always relapse and begin abusing substances once again. Between the years of 1988 and 1992, Bryn was relatively clean in comparison to her previous years. She became pregnant with Phil's children
Relatively.
during these years. After giving birth
Fuck
to
off.
both of Phil's children, Sean Edward in 1989 and daughter Bergen Anika in 1992, Bryn quickly became unstable once again. She began making constant assumptions that Phil had been unfaithful to her. She even threatened Phil's ex-wife, Lisa Strain, with bodily harm.
Damn.
There is zero evidence to this day that Bryn's claims of infidelity were true, accurate, or warranted. Likely due to Phil being known as the type of person that would avoid confrontation, combined with the instability and hostile environment while he was around Bryn, Phil began to spend more and more time on his own. He would fly his plane, or go out in his boat fairly regularly, which appears to be ways he could
I
get
just
away
want
from the
80,
constant negative
man.
energy that Bryn would bring around him. Despite the distance this seemed to bring to the relationship, it is fairly apparent that neither of the two were seeking a divorce. This activity kept up for several years until early 1998, when Bryn went through another treatment facility, and upon release,
Ugh.
she appeared to be attempting to get a hold of her addiction and emotional instability. May 27th, 1998. Bryn began drinking during the day, and then later
Combat
that
level
evening decided to
102,
meet up with a
let's
friend
go.
for drinks at a bar walking distance from her home with Phil. She quickly
It's a
became
fucking dub in my
intoxicated
books,
and
chat.
began to vent about her relationship with Phil and how she was no longer happy. Bryn began stating things about how she believed Phil did not care about her career and that she did not feel valued. As her friend was about to leave the bar, Bryn expressed her interest in keeping the night going and having a few more drinks. The friend could not stay out, so as they left, Bryn decided to visit her friend Ron Douglas. Ron and Bryn had previously been romantically involved with one another. During this visit, Ron has stated that he could tell that Bryn appeared desperate for attention. So, Ron spent several hours with Bryn before she decided to head home at around 12:45 a.m., which is the early
Several
hours of the
hours.
following day, May 28th, 1998. When she arrived at home, she instigated an argument with Phil. Due to her intoxication level, Phil told Bryn that if she started using drugs again, he would leave the relationship. After about an hour of arguing, Phil went to sleep in the master bedroom. While Phil was asleep, Bryn located Phil's personal Smith & Wesson model .38 caliber handgun. She entered the room and shot Phil 3 times, once in the head, once in the neck, and once in the chest. Phil Hartman passed away immediately. Later that night, around 3:30 a.m., Bryn drives back to Ron Douglas's house. She first asks Ron to please not get mad at her, and then she tells him that she murdered Phil and presented him the gun that she used to do so. Ron has stated that initially he thought she was kidding, but grew more and more concerned as time passed, and as Bryn was showing more obvious signs of intense instability. About 2 hours later, at 5:45 a.m., Bryn and Ron visit Phil's home, and Ron is frightened by the discovery of Phil's body laying in bed covered with blood. Ron walked away from Bryn and called the police. Bryn immediately reacts and locks herself in the master bedroom
Stuff like
where
that?
Phil lay
Okay.
deceased. As Bryn was locked in the bedroom, she located
Yeah,
another
they
gun,
used to have
this
summoning
time
and
a
shit
Charter
too, I
Arms
remember that.
Undercover .38 Special. She quickly called her sister and asked her to please remind her children that she loved them. At this point, the law enforcement officers decided to break a window of the bedroom to try and distract Bryn. Bryn then pulled out the handgun, placed it in her mouth, and pulled the trigger. Due to the
Damn.
fame and interconnectivity resulting from Phil's career,
That's fucking wild, child. What a way to go. It's a crazy love story, man. Wait, pause. Hold up. I'm the fuck out of here, bro. Peace, dog. That's hilarious, Alex. That is fucking wild. Just DM them a pic of their own dick. It's cynical as fuck. Alright, I gotta go fill up this cup full of water. My mouth is like drier than a nun's cunt. Alright? I gotta go fill that shit up. It's drier than a what? Drier than a nun's cunt. Yeah, people just got hate in their heart. You know? Ain't nothing new there, unfortunately. Excuse me. Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Combat level 102.
Person that saw these three girls alive. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the coincidence that comes into play with Stark County is you were probably the last person that saw Gene and Bobby alive.
What?
On June 12, 2017, the bodies of Suzanne Taylor and her two daughters, Kylie and Taylor, were discovered by Taylor's boyfriend
And
in their home in North
strongholds.
Royalton, Ohio.
And I arrived and all the cars were in their
Knock
exact
on
spots.
there. Yes, sir,
So
bro.
it was very weird that all their cars were there and no one was home. And I later learned that she
Nah.
just softball practice because her mom helps run it.
Oh, my
and
brimstone
Taylor's one of the
keys,
best
dog.
coaches in Ohio, and she coaches the leagues. So I knocked on the front door and was yelling her name because I was concerned that her mom was holding her there, not letting her go anywhere. And no one would answer, and the dog wasn't barking, which is very strange. You never take the dog anywhere. So I circled the house. All the blinds were shut. All the windows were closed to what I saw. And I was really concerned. So my father, because we do house reconstruction and stuff like that, oftentimes they don't give us keys. All the outside bars and padlocks are locked from the previous owner. So for that reason, I have a lockpick set that I use to get into those for demolition and rehab purposes. And they have a Latin saying in law, what is necessary is legal, and for either medical emergency or to help her, I decided to pick lock the front door, which was very easy to do. It was locked, it was dead bolted, which is only done from the inside. And from what I've heard, her mom didn't give a key to anyone except for her girls, not even the landlord, because they wanted to list the house. I heard she wouldn't even give them a key. So the lock was a very cheap lock, easily opened.
How long did it take you to open it?
3 seconds. I just slid in the pick and it opened right up. And then I had to use a screwdriver because I know that that dead bolt is very sticky and tight, so I just turned the tumbler with it. And when I walked in, I heard the dog barking from Suz's closed bedroom door, which was never latched shut. She would always swing it closed.
Not
and
hating,
stop
trying to
there
help,
when she was shaking. It was
overrated.
never latched shut. Not
Also,
one time.
like,
So the animals
I
were getting around. I
also
found it very strange.
actually can I even get
The house was silent,
hydras?
the lights were on. You could
I don't know if
hear
I can
the,
get
you know,
even
the,
get hydras on this account. I can't. 95.
The AC running. It was kind of damp and had a musty
Yeah.
smell. And I opened up the bedroom door, and
That's
there was a
kinda good.
comforter covering the entire bed. But judging by the build, Kylie wearing a teal blue shirt, her arm and leg were hanging off the side of the bed. I knew that they were dead, at least one of them. The bed didn't look right. I assumed there were others there, but I couldn't bring myself to look. So all I touched was the door handle walking in, the screen door, the main door, and then her bedroom door, and then I turned right around and walked out. Didn't touch or look at anything else. I couldn't bear to do it. So the whole time I was on the phone with Scott, which is her previous ex-boyfriend.
At what point did you call him?
So
Scott was Suzanne's ex-boyfriend. The couple had parted ways months prior. However, Scott continued to try and mend their relationship. He stayed in contact with Suzanne and her daughters, up until they suddenly stopped communicating with everyone.
Other things that I should have noticed was when I knocked on the door, I didn't hear Eris. The Eris is her dog. And normally you knock on the door, Eris would go and start barking. And Eris didn't bark. And I thought, well, maybe I just didn't knock hard enough, but I didn't think it was a
Bro, I
big deal.
used to have. What?
And I
don't
had the
know all
thought
my
of
totem
going over the
cards.
window and looking in, but
Bro, I haven't
her
used.
bedroom window before I accidentally locked her out. And she climbed in through the bedroom window once, so I figured I could go in there. But the kids were with me, and I was like, this isn't worth getting in trouble for.
I'd be sorry, I guess, for now.
So when you went up and you knocked and you approached, so the dog doesn't come, is there anything else that you see or observe?
Just the fact that George's van is there.
Oh, you want to
Door's
use
shut,
Dread
door's
Up from
locked.
Slayer Master?
So her and George had been fighting. We'll talk about that soon.
Scott tells police that before Taylor's boyfriend discovered the bodies, he had gone to the home to see why his calls were going unanswered. Before he left, he noticed that the van of a man named George Brinkman was parked in a very strange spot.
And then the van.
And then the van. The van.
I've
was not
honestly
parked in
been
the
thinking
driveway, it was
about
parked in
doing.
front of the dining room window.
Okay.
What's it called?
Yes.
Fucking
So
the
normally,
wilderness.
at least when I'm there and I've seen him before, he'll park over by where
I gotta
Taylor's
get more
car is.
fire in.
And when we were
I've honestly
both
been thinking
there,
about you doing
you know, it'd
the
be
like
one
wilderness
after the other.
task.
So the spot in front of Taylor's car was open.
Like, is he in the grass?
Bossing
He was in the
wilderness.
grass. Yes. Back. So the.
So you pulled in nose first, or was he back?
Back in. So you have the house and the bedroom.
Is that typical?
Been a hot minute to
No.
have.
And his car is right here. There's like a bush right here. The porch is right here. And Susie's car is right here. But so he's backed in.
Or is that her? I can't remember.
I call it the dining room. The dining room table's right here.
Okay.
He was backed in, so facing out
Oh, fuck.
In the grass.
in the grass.
That's odd. Tell me about George.
Someday try
So,
to lure in
George
here in the
is a
building.
friend of hers.
Yo,
apparently
Tanner,
from
what?
childhood.
Tanner, go to
I
World
met him,
fucking. Tanner, go to World 301, bro, and come to the GE, bro.
And
Alright?
he, she said that he always had a crush on her. So she said that he would constantly ask her, "How do I get a girl like you?" So there was that kind of context. So then I start coming around, and it's the December time frame, and she's like, "I'm not going to let a friend freeze to death in his van on the street." So he was spending a lot of nights at her house. And then when I started coming along and spending nights, I was like, no, it kind of went away.
I was playing Apex Legends the other day, bro, and this kid's name was
Apparently,
Free
over
Armor
the past
training.
few
I
months, that
fucking
relationship
spat
has
my
gotten
coffee
worse.
everywhere.
And she's like, he doesn't talk to me. When he does, he's a complete ass. And it got to the point where normally we went to Disney at the end of last month, and she says, normally I would ask George, and she's like, he won't do it. So as to where she wouldn't even help watch the dog.
Wow.
Then she would even.
Okay, come whenever you're good, come over to this
He'd
like.
probably put my underwear on
Come
his
over
head
to
and
this
dance
back part, like right here.
because she was pretty convinced that he had
Come
a
over
thing
here.
for her.
Okay.
So I never saw any moves on her.
Okay. He never talked to you about it?
Not about Susie, no.
Okay.
At the beginning, apparently, he said, "Yeah, you should go out with her." But then, what it seemed like was when the relationship took hold
Han
so fast,
Solo.
he was not happy at
I'll
all.
be over here dancing.
In January, I Facebook friended him. He has a George Brinkman account. I went to Facebook friend him, and he
Alex,
blocked me after that and stopped using that account and went to this other account called Crimson Guard.
Okay.
Because I tried to Facebook friend him, which I thought that was completely.
I feel like I'm getting old. Alex, Jesus Christ, don't remind me.
He's not afraid to threaten to beat
26, turning 27. I feel fucking terrible. I'm going through a quarter-life crisis.
But
Lol.
he.
What about Susie?
He's never threatened Susie, and that I've seen.
Okay.
And I don't think she'd take it. So
I'm over here sitting in the prairie like with the shield.
That, but I don't think he's all there. I just don't think his action. He's seems like he's prone to violence. I haven't seen him physically do it, but I've had him in the house where he's like, I'm gonna go outside and beat your ass, and that type of threat.
What's his background?
Hold him back. They grew up together. I understand that he dropped out of high school his senior year to go to the military and
go ranch. What he did?
I think it was the Army, is what somebody said, but
Okay.
I don't.
You don't know
That's not firsthand knowledge, and
Okay.
I believe I got that knowledge after this case started.
Okay.
But I will tell you, I cannot reconcile the fact that his van
Almost
was at
there,
the
yeah.
house with the door locked. It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Do you remember the exact time when that was?
Oh yeah,
And I'm just going.
What's
I
your
just wanna go back
username,
to
Tanner? So I
It is
don't accidentally
429.
trade the wrong person.
With this new information, the hunt for George Brinkman begins. It starts with a phone call to George where he promises to come in for an interview, but when he doesn't show up, the police find him and it ends in a 9-hour police standoff.
Yeah, good morning, Terrence and Karina. This standoff ended about 30 minutes ago, and we just spoke with the Brunswick Police Department, getting us details about how this standoff ended. They tell us that the SWAT teams did a tactical entry into this home here on Valley Forge Drive in Brunswick. They say the front door was unlocked, and the man inside, they have now identified him. His name is George Brinkman. He is 45 years old. They are now naming him as a suspect in this North Royalton triple homicide. They say they went into the house and they got him out peacefully. He walked out of the house in handcuffs. There were no shots fired in this, but they do say that that George did have a pistol inside the house during this 9-hour standoff with police.
When George
You got that
was finally in
ruined
custody,
trim?
the police put him into an interrogation room to see what he has to say.
I'm gonna pull a seat around for you here.
Sorry. That's no problem, man. That's all right. We'll have a seat over here.
I got you some water. Would you like some coffee?
I'll give you 300K. It's not a lot of money, but like it's enough to get you going. You know what I mean? It's enough to get you going without ruining the game for you.
I can see if I can get you Pepsi.
Let's look up the stats. Let's go. Oh no, I
If you
can't.
feel like you're hungry or something,
Come on.
you have the diabetes,
Oh, no.
please let me know. If you'd like to use the
What a
restroom,
G.
please let me know. They're gonna
What
look around and
a
see if,
G,
we
bro.
can definitely take a smoke break later.
Anything helps? No worries.
We'll work on that. That part is kind of a work in progress.
The detective knows that George is a very aggressive person, so they begin the interrogation by being as friendly as possible. They remove his handcuffs and offer him a drink and promise him a cigarette.
So we can just talk openly. If you want to stop at any time, balls in your court. But I'd like to just kind of discuss what's going on and why you're here. And
I'd like to know why I'm here.
well, can we start with this part so we can discuss things openly? And
They'll help with like food and stuff for like killing some monsters.
you can stop. You can stop at any time.
Oh, you did the Easter event? I don't think I've even done the Easter event.
You do lefty. Can I ask you a question? If I uncuff your hand,
I'm not going anywhere.
That's yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let's get you more comfortable. Okay.
Like I told the officers last night, I would never point any weapon I had at them. They're doing their job.
I appreciate that. I have
Easter's
to ask.
fun?
That's
I know.
So, but I respect that. Is that more comfortable? I kind of want to just figure out.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What is?
I guess
And I'll caveat that I don't have a lot of information on that, so sometimes we'll come in and help some of the local PDs with some issues. I'm getting here kind of late in the game, so you can just kind of explain.
I guess I was supposed to talk with Detective Rybicki. I don't want to say her name wrong. yesterday.
Who is this?
And
Is this
I didn't make
B-Dog?
it
That's
back
Brian.
where I was till late. I was
That's
tired.
B-Dog right there.
And then coming in. Next thing you know, I've got officers swarming the door.
Nice.
And I barricaded myself in.
You gotta get 72 construction, homie,
Yeah,
so you
you see a
can,
bunch of cops
or
and
yeah,
my biggest
what is it,
concern
80
was for me,
construction,
though,
so you can
was
boost
for
up and get
the
everything
girl
in your
I
house.
whose house it was, and the 2 dogs. And
Arrows,
once they
yeah.
were safe, then
Who are you staying with?
her name's Amy. I've known her since we were tadpoles, I guess. She's like 9 years younger than me.
Are you guys like, is there like a family friendship?
Yeah,
between
it's like
families?
family.
Oh, good. Okay.
Her and my mom. Her mom and my mom were best friends growing up. Her mom's the one that got my mom away from my abusive dad.
Okay.
And then they ran into problems. They stayed with us for a while.
Did you ever experience any type of abuse? Or was it directed towards your mom? Or was it a
It
little
was directed towards all of us.
The detective spent some time asking George about his life leading up to this point. George claims that after high school he joined the military. After that, he did various jobs all over Ohio as he struggled to keep his head above water. He also spent time in prison, mostly for writing bad checks, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. Eventually, he would be forced to live in his van and do odd jobs in North Royalton.
He looks coming in next year.
What brought you here today? I'm trying to make that connection. So there was an issue with the police last night. What was that related to? Yeah, what's that related to?
Like I said, I thought I was supposed to talk to a detective, Radicki. My friend Sue and her 2 daughters.
What a scamming piece of shit,
I
bro.
guess were killed this weekend. And I know I saw Sue Saturday, and I saw the girls as I was pulling out of the driveway, and I guess I'm the last one to see them. And
What a
I guess her boyfriend found
piece
them.
of shit.
Taylor's that's the oldest daughter.
People,
And Taylor had this bond. It was ridiculous.
People falling for 20-year-old
I know she was
scams,
at
yeah.
grade school.
This
And I
interview
was-
sucks. I can't listen to that shit. That's just like hard to even have on my screen. Navy phrase melee. Let's go. No worries, bro. Put it to good use. Put it to good use, bro. Juan David Ortiz.
Laredo, Texas is home to one of the earliest crossing points
Did you
along the
canoe?
Mexico-United States border.
No.
It is also the
Future canoe.
the nation's biggest inland port of entry. It is this crossing point that has enabled Laredo to flourish while blending the 2 distinct cultures of the U.S. and Mexico. However, towns located along the Mexico-U.S. borders are often associated with a sense of lawlessness due to their statistically high crime rates. This is why you'll often see these areas in television and film portrayed as hotspots for illegal activity. Crimes such as drug trafficking, extortion, violence, and corrupt public officials tend to overshadow the redeeming qualities that cities like Laredo have to offer. In this video, we will be covering a case that not only takes place in this uncompromising environment, but is also a prime
Damn.
example of the harsh crimes that can be found within it. On September 3rd, 2018, a local Webb County rancher from Laredo, Texas,
Dude,
discovered
there's
a
an
dead
imp in
body
here.
on
What the fuck?
Jeffries Road, off of Highway
I've never
255.
seen an imp
The
in
body
here
was
before.
in plain sight on the side of the road and had multiple gunshots to the head. It was later determined to be the body of 29-year-old
If you want
Melissa
like the best
Ramirez,
XP
a
rates, you
sex
should be
worker and a
getting
mother of
like
two. The day Melissa was
14
killed, her
ash
mother
and
went down to San
14
Bernardo
bones.
Avenue, where sex workers often spend their time. She asked someone named Claudine Loera if she had seen her daughter, but to no avail. 10 days later, on September 13th, 2018, another body was discovered on the outskirts of town, once again on the side of the road, with multiple gunshot wounds to the head. It was the body of Claudine Loera. Claudine was a single mother of 5. She had struggled to find a path in life and became heavily addicted to drugs, which fed her depression and guilt. She resorted to sex work in order to provide for her family. Claudine recognized the extent of her drug abuse and even confided in her mother about it just weeks before her murder. Tragically, any hopes of her turning her life around were shattered by a heartless killer. One day after Claudine's body was found, a distressed woman, topless, ran up to a Texas trooper at a gas station, claiming that she had just been attacked and that she knew where her attacker lived. It was 26-year-old Erica Pena. She said that her attacker was a prior customer named David, who had brought her to his house. Aware that David was a Border Patrol agent, Erica asked him if he knew anything about her friend Melissa Ramirez.
It's not
Following
too
this
greasy.
question, Erica said that his behavior
Gilded
transitioned,
Altars?
raising
Yeah,
her
yeah.
suspicions.
Gilded Altars.
On the way to
yeah, I
Bernardo
remember.
Avenue, where he was dropping her off, she asked once more about Melissa, at which point David allegedly snapped and pulled out a gun. She panicked and exited the vehicle immediately, her attacker ripping off her blouse in the process. Erica Pena was the only victim to escape this killer. Law enforcement immediately went to the attacker's home, but he was already gone, so a manhunt ensued. Police swiftly issued a be on the lookout, known as a BOLO, for 35-year-old Juan David Ortiz, a father, husband, and former U.S. Navy medical technician who was employed as an intelligence supervisor for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. A few hours later, they located Juan at a gas station after noticing his truck and confronted him.
Stop right there. Stop. Is this your truck? Is this your truck? Okay. All right. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
Kill Hell Giants, yeah. Yo, Brian, enter your gamer tag in here again, bro. I want to add you.
Sure. We got a positive ID with some. This truck right here is matching with the potential, with the murders that's been happening within the past 2 weeks. We want to do an interview. We want to do some questioning. We just need for you to cooperate with us, okay? All right, fine. Make my way. Just turn around and make my way this way, okay?
And I'm also adding you, Tanner.
Just turn around. Turn around, please. Turn around. Hey! He's in here, bro. Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm pretty hard to miss.
After running from the police, Juan was eventually located and apprehended following a short pursuit. He was placed under arrest and transported back to the police station before taking part in an interrogation that lasted
like
more than 9
B-Dog
hours,
something.
led by Captain Frederico Calderon. However, we're not quite ready to focus on the interrogation just yet, so we'll get there shortly. Following this taped interrogation, Juan David Ortiz was charged with 4 counts of murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawful restraint, and was held on a $2.5 million bond. The victims included Melissa Ramirez and Claudine Loera, as mentioned before, as well as 35-year-old Giselda Alicia Hernandez
for sale.
and 28-year-old Janelle Ortiz. All
The
4
kid's
victims were
name's
sex
Kiss for
workers
sale.
and murdered in a very similar fashion.
That's funny.
Due to this case being one with a potential death penalty, and
Mithra,
also
these
due
kids
to
are
the
just
COVID
losing their mind.
pandemic,
You know? It's
about
like,
5 years had passed before the trial of Juan David Ortiz was set in motion. Before the trial began, the Webb County District Attorney met with
Can't
the
miss
families
me,
of
only
all 5
bucket home in
victims.
the GE.
Ultimately, he requested for the
You
death
like that
penalty to be
bucket,
dropped.
eh?
Instead, they wanted to pursue life without parole for Juan. The main reason for this decision is that it somewhat simplifies the case and would potentially shorten the trial from a few months to a few weeks, which subsequently may also increase the prosecution's chances of winning the trial as well. On November 28, 2022, the trial of Juan David Ortiz began. The trial lasted a total of 8 days. In their opening statement, prosecutors said that Ortiz confessed to the murders, including the shooting of Janelle Ortiz, whose body investigators had not yet discovered when they questioned him.
Throughout this trial, we are going to bring you evidence. We are going to, yes, we're in Bexar County, but through the evidence,
Yo, enjoy.
through technology, through photos,
Enjoy.
through videos, and through testimony.
I'm going to bed, boys. I'm fucking tired. I'm like falling asleep here, and I'm just fighting the inevitable, you know? Oh, I appreciate you guys. Yo, Brian, it was nice to meet you, my man. Appreciate you. God bless. If you want, make sure to join the Discord. Get notified when I go live. There's the Discord. Everyone, Squirt Savage, have a good night. Tanner, have a good night. Alex, if you're still here, have a good night. Sean, if you're here, you have a good night. You guys all just have a fantastic evening. And I'll catch you guys later. God bless. Thanks for watching. Happy Easter.